Montag lieben, glauben, globen.
All right. I got something to say. Yeah. It's better to burn out. Yeah. Than fade away. Outrage. Gonna start a fire. Come on, rise up, gather round, rock this place to the ground, burn it up, let's go for broke. Watch the night go up in smoke. Rock on, drive me crazy, yeah. No serenade.
Oh, it's one of those days. It's one of those days. I wish I could play more than 59 seconds of a song for you, but there are rules that I must follow. I don't like following rules. You might know that. Every once in a while, only every once in a while, don't you wag your finger at me like that. Only every once in a while do I bend and or flat out break the rules. I might be breaking one of the rules in the Farwell Show 5 this morning. You can be the judge of that with the language I choose to use. But I'm going to get to that. The rule I will not break is how much music I am allowed to play for you at any one time here on the show. So you get just 59 seconds this morning of Rock of Ages by Def Leppard, because it was on this day 43 years ago, yes, on this day in 1983, that the album Pyromania graced our ears. It began, Def Leppard's album Pyromania, a 92-week run on the U.S. album charts. That, my friend, is almost 2 full years, don't you know? It never did reach number 1, Pyromania, the album, but it did sell over 6 million copies in the U.S. alone. And it was a bit of a departure for Def Leppard, right? They dropped some of their heavy metal roots and went to a more mainstream, radio-friendly sound, and they found some massive success there. On this day in 1983, Def Leppard's Pyromania begins a 92-week run on the U.S. albums charts. And one of the singles from that album, Rock of Ages, begins our show together for this Thursday morning, the 5th of February. Welcome to the show. Thank you very much for stopping by, spending some of your valuable time with us. I know that you are busy, and it really does mean a lot that you spend some of that time with us here on the show each and every day, whether it's 15 minutes or the full 4 hours. Again, sincerely appreciated, especially my 9 a.m.ers. I don't like to play favorites, but I've got a soft spot for my 9 a.m.ers that are here every morning the minute Christine Clark signs off from All News Mornings, and we play a bit of a song with some historical significance, and we get into the conversations of the day. I got an email earlier this morning from Ron, and Ron says, hey, what about a little Rangers in the AM today? After all, you do it for the Leafs, and your station is the voice of the Kitchener Rangers. Why don't we have a little bit of Rangers in the AM? All right, Ron, your wish is our command. I mean, it doesn't have the same ring to it as AM on AM in the AM, which we do for Austin Matthews, but how about this? It was Peanut. Sam O'Reilly's nickname is Peanut, so Peanut scoring in the PM that we can replay for you in the AM.
Ahead it comes to Sam O'Reilly with Reed over the line. O'Reilly the shot! O'Reilly the goal! The former Knight! O'Reilly! O-T! Oh, baby!
I mean, sometimes the stuff just writes itself. I feel like I was just in London for that game. Oh, wait a minute. I was. That was last night. That was mere hours ago from Canada Life Place in London. Sam O'Reilly, now a Ranger, once a Knight, busts down the right wing 25 seconds into overtime and snipes home the game-winning goal for the Kitchener Rangers. 4-3 in OT, the Rangers win, and the Rangers now have a 13-game point streak. 11 wins, 0 regulation losses, 1 overtime loss, 1 shootout loss in their past 13 games. To put it another way for you, since the calendar flipped to 2026, the Kitchener Rangers have not lost a game in regulation. Now, I don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole because I'm always worried about, well, I'm just too superstitious. I'm the ding-dang broadcaster. Nothing I say can possibly have any effect on the outcome of what happens on the ice. But here's the thing. First of all, Sam O'Reilly, 2 goals and an assist against his former team last night. I'm glad that he's playing for us now. Thank you very much. But that win last night for the Rangers was their 3rd in London this season. They play the Knights 6 times a year, 3 in Kitchener, 3 in London. So the Rangers have won every game of the season series in London. They have swept the road games in this season series. Now, I keep some notes with me in my hockey binder when I go to games. And one of the notes that I keep has been, quite frankly, the dominance that the London Knights have had over the Kitchener Rangers going back, these many years. I started by going back in the 2022 season. I went back a decade. So I went back to the 2012-2013 season. I haven't looked further back. But in those almost 15 years, okay, going back to the 2012-2013 OHL season, the Kitchener Rangers have only on 2 occasions in these past almost 15 seasons, split the season series with the London Knights, meaning each team won 3 games. Only twice has that happened. All the other times, London won more games than Kitchener in the season series. So with the win last night, Kitchener has earned themselves, at minimum, a split of the season series because they've already got 3 wins. But here's the other thing. Kitchener has never, in at least these past 15 seasons almost, won all 3 games in London. They've never swept the London side, the road side of this season series. But with their win last night, the Kitchener Rangers did exactly that. I present this to you merely for information purposes. This sort of thing hasn't happened a lot lately, but it's been happening this season for the Kitchener Rangers. And I'll just leave the rest of that right there. Oh, but I will remind you that London comes to Kitchener next Tuesday, and we can do this all over again, except on home ice for the Kitchener Rangers. Just out of curiosity, is there any statute of limitations on the arrival and or delivery of Christmas cards? Asking for a friend who may have received this morning. Well, I got a notification yesterday before I left, but I just left because I had to catch a bus and go to a hockey game. But I got a notification yesterday from one of my coworkers that says, there's a lot of stuff out there on the filing cabinet with your name on it. I'm like, oh, okay, somebody collected the mail. I don't know how often we actually collect the mail around here. We've got one of those community mailboxes out in the parking lot here on the boardwalk. I'm not responsible. Listen, I can only be responsible for so much, okay? And there's not a lot of things that I should be trusted with. Anyway, I found this morning, sitting on top of the filing cabinet, a Happy Holidays card from Kitchener Centre MPP Ashlyn Clancy. It's a lovely photo of her and her partner and their 2 kids. And it says, wishing you health, peace, prosperity, and great happiness this holiday season and always. I'm thinking by February 5th, the holidays are over. Like, I'm sick of the snow already, right? We can have snow for the holidays. We can't have snow on February the 5th, at least not snow that we're not tired of. Anyway, it seems as though Ms. Clancy had put Waterloo as the address for the boardwalk, and we're in Kitchener. And somebody scratched out Waterloo and wrote in Kitchener. Here's the thing. There's a postal code on here. Like, I would love to get inside the sorting area of Canada Post. Like, it still has the proper postal code. So it says Waterloo instead of Kitchener. How can you not get this here? Come on with your coming on. Anyway, I got a Happy Holidays card from Kitchener Centre MPP Ashlyn Clancy. And then I got this beauty. It's a beautiful winter evening photo of Parliament Hill, one of my favorite places, quite frankly, anywhere. I love it in Ottawa. We go there with the Rangers in about a week. You know darn well I'm going to go visit Parliament Hill. I just love being there and seeing our Parliament buildings. So clearly this comes from one of our federal elected representatives, and it just so happens to be from Bardish Chagger, the MP for Waterloo. But Bardish, she's a clever one. This says, wishing you and your loved ones a new year filled with peace, joy, and happiness. And then it says it again in French, but the only French word I know is chapeau, so I can't read it to you. But wishing you and your loved ones a new year filled with peace, joy, and happiness. Thank you, Ms. Chagger. I mean, it is the new year. It's only 5 days into the second month of the new year. I know January is 1,000 days, but, you know, it's not bad. And I think this is pretty clever. Get outside the holiday clutter and send a New Year's card. Is it okay to get a New Year's card on February the 5th? There's also a cute little picture of Ms. Chagger's doggo in here. I forget his little name, but anyway, cutie patootie doggy. Listen, you had me at dogs, okay? But there you go. A Happy Holidays card from Kitchener Centre MPP Ashlyn Clancy and a New Year's card from Waterloo MP Bardish Chagger. That's the kind of morning it is over here at the radio station. Let's go to the phones because Chris is with us this morning. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Mark. How are you?
Who?
Mike.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
That's all right. I get it all the time, actually. You know how long I had to work? I truly had to work very hard at making it distinguishable, my first name from my last. Mike Farwell. I emphasize the Ike part because I get a lot of Mark. Anyway, your turn.
Well, my brother's name is Mike, so it's pretty hard to get that wrong.
Well, but you said Mark first off.
No, Mike, I slur sometimes.
Okay. But listen, what are you drinking for breakfast? No orange juice for you, eh? Slurring your words at 9:11 in the morning, huh?
Hey, no one said it wasn't from a samosa.
You're my kind of listener.
Hey,
yeah.
That fact about the Kitchener Rangers and the London Knights is hilarious. I don't find it funny and like, it is funny, haha, because we're actually upping them this year.
We are. It doesn't have... I only went back to 2012, 2013, but so far so good this year compared to that.
I literally look forward to buying tickets to Kitchener and London Knights games because they are absolutely... If you want a good hockey game and you want rivalry and you want hitting and you want scoring, I literally line up to buy tickets weeks in advance for that game. It
is a good showcase for junior hockey. You are absolutely right.
Yeah, that's what I just wanted to say. You have a great day, Mike.
Thanks, Chris. You too. And you work on that slurring, okay? Or at least disguise those samosas a little bit better. Mimosas. They're mimosas. They're not samosas. Samosas are for lunch. Mimosas are for breakfast, if you're Chris's kind of person. Mary is also with us on the phone. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, Mike. This is my day.
It's
our day for fun, right?
Sure. Oh, yeah. Living retired with Gary Chalk.
I'd love to meet that guy.
You would love to meet Gary Chalk. Well, and maybe we'll find a way to make that happen.
I think that he's got my kind of humor, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like
the funny kind of humor?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's a funny guy.
What I'm calling, because you mentioned Christmas cards, I got 2 Christmas cards at the end of January. And so the one both of the people I called and I said, thank you very much. I just got this card. And she said, what? I sent it December 1st. There you go.
Don't worry, Mary. Canada Post is operating just fine.
You betcha.
All right. Thanks for the call this morning. And yes, one of Mary's favorite weekly segments on this show, 10:30 every Thursday morning, Living Retired. It's a humor column, and the author of that column, Gary Chalk, joins us to share the column and the wisdom and fun that he injects into it every Thursday morning on the show at 10:30. So that's coming up just over an hour from now.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Right now, why don't we get to that Farwell Show 5 for this Thursday morning? Number 1, how about we all agree to not walk on Silver Lake at Waterloo Park? Can we get an amen on that? By any chance, the city has issued a warning after reports of many people doing just that, wandering out onto the ice on Silver Lake, even drawing designs while out there. Look, it ain't a safe place to be. Waterloo has done a great job of rejuvenating Silver Lake, and it's a great place to hang out in the summertime. Shoreside, they've put some sand there and some umbrellas. It's great on the shore in the summer. So please, don't be a winter wanker. And number 2 on your Farwell Show 5 this morning, the city of Guelph has landed on a 2026 tax increase of almost 8%. Guelph Mayor Cam Guthrie pleaded guilty to the increase, but with an explanation.
And I'll be straightforward. It's the provincial government mostly downloading or underfunding in key areas like social services, housing and homelessness, like in policing that we heard today, and others. And legislation has been done where there's no corresponding resources or funding to help at all in these areas. It also rests on the provincial and the federal government for getting out of housing, deeply affordable housing in the 90s. And it's all come home to roost right now. This is not a Guelph thing. This is an everywhere thing. It reminds me of the great late mayor of Mississauga, Hazel McCallion, who coined the phrase, the federal government has all the money, the provincial government makes all the rules, and the cities get all the problems. Never has that been more true than over the last 5 years. And so these outside boards are going to add 4.4% to the budget. And so that means it's a total of the three things, the city, the levy, and the outside boards, of 7.87%.
The increase in Guelph had been projected at 8.04%. At 7.87%, the average homeowner in Guelph will pay an additional $401.62 per year in taxes, or, as Mayor Guthrie puts it, an extra $1.10 per day. I like that math. I see where the mayor is going with it. So $1.10 a day, right? You skip that one trip to Timmy's in the drive-thru, and you've got 2 of your days taken care of. The question I have for you, Mayor Guthrie, is what about the remaining 363 days of the year? $1.10 doesn't sound like a lot, but taxpayers in Guelph have to come up with it every single day for the year, and a more than $401 tax increase. Number 3 on your Farwell Show 5 this morning, a sweeping investigation into drug trafficking and auto thefts has led to dozens of arrests, including at least 7 members of the Toronto Police Service. York Regional Police set to provide an update this morning on that investigation. Number 4, consumers can expect to see the revival of the popular electric vehicle rebates. Prime Minister Mark Carney is set to announce new EV policies today, including a restoration of the rebates program that was halted last year when it ran out of money. Government and industry sources also say the strategy will scrap the electric vehicle sales mandate in favor of new vehicle emissions standards. And number 5, on your Farwell Show 5 this morning, Canada's opening game against Finland in women's hockey at the Milano Cortina Winter Olympics has been postponed after some members of the Finnish team got norovirus. The preliminary round game will be played next Thursday instead. Defending champion Canada faces Switzerland on Saturday, and then Czechia and arch-rival United States next week. And that is your Farwell Show 5 for this Thursday morning. It is 18 minutes after 9 a.m.
As God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly.
I have to be honest, that was a complete fail. That was almost as much of a fail by me as it was by the late, great Arthur Carlson, general manager at WKRP in Cincinnati, when he thought that turkeys could fly. I was not near my button. That should have been played a little bit sooner. I'm sorry for the pregnant pause that appeared there spontaneously on our Thursday morning show. A quick break. When we come back, it's your morning wake-up call. Either you can make it or I will on the Mike Farwell Show. This is 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. I'm not sure how you felt about the usage of the Queen's English during the Farwell Show 5 when I described those who have ventured out onto the completely unsafe ice at Silver Lake in Waterloo Park as winter wankers. But Rob sends an email and he seems to be feeling equally spicy. I will read it word for word because I fear not the wrath of any regulators here at the radio station. I'll get to Rob's email in just a moment, but thinking on one of the items in the Farwell Show 5 this morning, and that is the expected revival of electric vehicle rebates. You know, if you've listened to this show for more than 5 minutes, one of the things that has held me back from entering the electric vehicle market, and it's only one of the things, there are many, but one of the things absolutely is the price point. So the idea that a rebate will help to lower that price for the consumer may move the needle for some, but I still struggle a little bit with this. I mean, how sustainable is the market for electric vehicles, or how sustainable are the vehicles themselves if it requires a government subsidy to get them into the hands of consumers? I'm not sure that the government should necessarily be inserting itself into the market in this manner. One of the other things that strikes me about this news that we are expecting from the federal government today is, I think I'll call it the official scrapping of the electric vehicle sales mandate, right? Because we've known for some time that, look, it got walked back or pushed back, and we kind of had a suspicion this day was coming. But isn't it interesting that this is still a federal liberal government, and aside from its leader in Mark Carney, yeah, there have been a few bits of window dressing, if you will, amongst the caucus overall, some new members, but not a whole heck of a lot. So essentially, we've got the same cast of characters here in Ottawa representing us with the federal Liberal government who championed these very policies, this electric vehicle sales mandate, etc., and are now cheering the elimination of those mandates. I find it a very interesting juxtaposition federally. To Rob's email, writing to Mike at 570news.com. And I love Rob's perspective on the job that I have and the influence that might come with it. Because Rob says, with your connections, Rob, you really think I've got connections, do you? With your connections, could you get somebody on the show who will, all caps, truthfully let the taxpayers know just how many dollars the city has pissed away? Rob's words, that's what he wrote. Truthfully, let the taxpayers know just how many dollars the city has pissed away with these new garbage and recycle bins that, in my opinion, are nothing more than to make things look more aesthetic. I think you mean unaesthetic, Rob, but ugly. I get you. Thank you from a daily listener. Go Rangers, go. Rob, appreciate the email, like any email, to Mike at 570news.com. First of all, it's the region, not the city. That's a minor point. Second of all, the idea here is to save money, right? Because you're going to need fewer people collecting, because these bins can be picked up manually by a big arm in the truck. So you're saving manual labor. You're saving labor costs, etc. What I'm more curious about is when my rebate from the region is coming, because they're now spending less on waste pickup. Where's that part going to show up for me? I don't know. But Rob, I do share your frustration with the ugliness. That's the only way to describe it. The ugliness of these new bins. Come on with your coming on. There ain't no place to put them. I ain't some prince living in a garage or having a garage attached or detached from my house. I got no garage. These big, ugly bins sit in my driveway and look like crap, plain and simple. I got no solution for you there, Rob. But had I the connections you think I had, I would dive more deeply into it. But the gist of it is, from the region's perspective, we are saving money and saving people's well-being, because they don't have to be lifting and pulling and twisting all of those garbage bins and garbage bags from our curbside from now on. You're going to put them in those bins, and the mechanical arm is going to come down and pick them up for you. Just speaking of those connections and the perspective that you may have of me here at this job, that's what we're talking about on the flip side today. And I really want to get inside your life. You know what it's like for me sitting in this studio having these conversations with you. I'm turning the tables. I'm flipping things over to you on the flip side today, because I want to know where you are and what you do while you listen to this show. Something else coming up this morning on the Mike Farwell Show, 570 News Radio and Rogers TV.
Trading at Schwab is now powered by Ameritrade, giving you even more specialized support than ever before. Like access to the trade desk, our team of passionate traders ready to tackle anything from the most complex trading questions to a simple strategy gut check. Need assistance? No problem. Get 24/7 professional answers and live help, and access support by phone, email, and in-platform chat. That's how Schwab is here for you, to help you trade brilliantly. Learn more at schwab.com/trading.
I cannot tell a lie, and I will never mislead you here on the show. A little birdie told me that there was a conversation happening on LinkedIn about the water crisis that we are in the midst of here in the region of Waterloo. So I went snooping because, you can go onto a social media site and snoop around for the conversation that is happening there, especially when it pertains to something so important to us here in the region. And that's where I found the commentary from our guest who is about to join us on the show. He is Chris Garretts. He's an engineer engaged by the Waterloo Region Home Builders Association as they work towards preparing reports on this water crisis here in the region. Chris, thank you very much for the time. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
What do you know about the wells that are in our Mannheim water system here in Waterloo Region?
Well, I've done a lot of work in the area. So through family business, we were well contractors for about 45 plus years, and Region of Waterloo was one of our main clients. So just looking at the list of the wells in the Mannheim and Middlebrook system, I think we've worked on at least 2/3, if not more, of the individual wells over that time. So pretty good knowledge. We've constructed a number of them. I did testing and well rehabilitation on a number of them. So I think I have a reasonable understanding of the system.
And when I was snooping around and reading this commentary on LinkedIn, I noticed that in one of your posts, you said that any issue within this system here in our region is manufactured. What do you mean by that?
Well, when I say manufactured, I mean it's really a paper exercise. So the region is able to provide water to all of its businesses and residents today, same as it was yesterday, and the same as it was before the region decided that they have an issue. What has changed is the way they manage the system and the desire by some to have a resiliency or sustainability factor, a certain percentage of the system capacity allocated in case of emergency, basically. So the only thing that's changed is they've decided they want to set aside 20% of the entire system capacity, which has then created a water deficit. So that's what I mean when I say the crisis has been manufactured. The water is still coming out of the taps. You're still able to fight fires. Businesses are still operating, but it's really an operational or a management discussion.
And this sustainability buffer that we've heard quite a bit about since this problem was uncovered about a month ago, they're talking about a 20 to 30% buffer here for that sustainability. Is that standard operating procedure, Chris?
No, the short answer is no. The longer answer is there's no defined percentage. So the Ministry of the Environment, Conservation and Parks doesn't have a percentage that you should strive for in their design guidelines. The one consultant's report does do a comparison of a number of areas, and they list 5, and they all have 10 to 15% redundancy or factors in there. So 20 to 30 would be what I would consider to be high.
Okay, and so we know that in the immediate aftermath of this revelation being made public that we're, not having a water quality but a water quantity issue here in the region, our regional government has chosen to freeze development, not signing off on any application until it can get its house in order, so to speak. What else might the region be able to do in the immediate term, Chris, like tomorrow, for example, without freezing development as an option here?
Well, I think it's always good to have some amount of reserve, but to go from the status quo and add 20% overnight is maybe not the best the best choice. I would suggest that they could continue under what I'll call the old system and work towards a 20% factor as an aspirational goal, if you will. The assets, as near as I can tell, based on the review of their most recent asset management plan, which was approved in January of last year, the water and wastewater assets are about 85% in good, fair, and excellent condition, with average age about 35% of their life expectancy. So on average, the assets appear as though they're in good shape. And if they have operational issues that need to be addressed, I would think that that's something they could do in the shorter term. Now, their January 28th meeting, they did lay out a plan of some near, medium, and long-term things they could do to address the crisis. But I do still maintain that I can't stress enough that the system is operating currently as it always has. So I don't see the need to freeze development.
How do we get water moving more efficiently through the system here in the region? Because we understand that there is one area of the system that is lacking because they don't talk to one another. That's my complete Joe public speak here, Chris.
Yeah, no, that's actually a great analogy, and I will say I always tell people that I work vertically in getting the water to the surface. I'm not an expert in the transmission, so I'll give you an opinion, but it might not be a strict technical opinion. But it did strike me that they had always thought that the two systems could talk to each other, and now they've discovered that they can't. The Middlebrook can't supply Mannheim because of the pressure difference. I would like to see them address that in the short term. If there is a pressure difference, you can put potentially booster pumps in. I understand that there is some concern with mixing the two water sources from a water quality perspective. And for full transparency, I did fail Chem 101, so I'm definitely not going to speak about water treatment processes. But I think that there's something you could do there to address that. So as they can talk to each other. One of the other things I wanted to point out is they reference about a 40% decline in the treatment capacity at the water treatment plant. January 28th, they did say they would look at addressing it, but it's just to me, if your water treatment plant has lost 40% of its ability to operate, that would be something I would explore right away.
We talked at the outset of the experience you have with this system itself, specifically. About 2/3 of the wells, the company, your family company, was involved in building. Now, we know here in the region we're rather unique insofar as our primary source of water is groundwater. But when it comes to this well system and the work that you did on it, Chris, are the wells in any way unique, or is this similar to wells that would be dug and placed anywhere in a water system?
Well, they're all unique, but I don't think there's anything overly special about them. They're very similar to wells that we had constructed in York Region, for example, in terms of depth and the type of material. What I also want to point out is that Waterloo has long been considered the gold standard for water management, groundwater management, et cetera, in terms of their long-term planning and how they manage everything. So I wanted to point that out. They've historically done a very good job, which is another reason why I'm surprised that they've sort of been caught unaware that there is this potential issue. And going back to the 2020 and 2025 asset management plans, there were no significant urgent issues outlined in either of those, which is, where you would expect to see an asset is declining and should be slated for repair, similar to, they speak about bridges and roads in there. So if you've got a bridge that's reaching end of life, you would expect to see that show up in your asset management plan, not suddenly be taken out of service because it's about to fail. So I want to say that if there were real issues, they should have known about them for a long time.
It is a valuable perspective for us to get this morning. Chris, I really appreciate your time on the show. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
Chris Garrett joins us. He's an engineer engaged by our Waterloo Region Home Builders Association as we continue to explore the issue before us when it comes to our water system. And I let you know at the outset that I was tipped off to this conversation happening on social media, LinkedIn to be exact. So I went and snooped around and I found Chris's comments, and it starts by saying, in Chris's words, I have worked on or constructed the majority of the wells in the Mannheim system. I have also read the consultant's report. It is clear that any issue has been manufactured. MPP Fife, pointing to over-allocation of permits, makes it obvious that she has no idea how the current permit to take water system works and has not read the technical reports. And then there is a list of 6 different things, starting with, there is no, all caps, immediate problem. There is enough water to meet demands with adequate buffer. Just speaking of Waterloo MPP, Catherine Fife, her party's leader, Marit Stiles, is going to join us just after the 10 a.m. news this morning to talk about, among other things, this water crisis we find ourselves in here in the region. And I'm interested to hear from Ms. Stiles based on what we are hearing from the engineer whose family company was responsible for about 2/3 of the wells in the Mannheim system. And if one MPP doesn't seem to understand, in this engineer's opinion, how the current permit to take water system works, we'll find out if Ontario NDP leader Marit Stiles understands how the permit to take water system works. I also received an email yesterday from Janice, who writes to Mike at 570news.com about this so-called, in Janice's words, water crisis in the region of Waterloo. I find it puzzling, Janice writes, that concerns about water availability are being cited to stall new development, particularly when projects like the new hospital, which presumably uses a massive amount of water daily, are moving forward without apparent issue. This leads me to wonder whether the water crisis has been, at least in part, manufactured as a rationale for delaying other initiatives. One example is the proposed transit hub that has faced repeated delays. The land intended for the hub has been occupied by a homeless encampment, and legal proceedings around this situation have already stalled development. Could it be that the water crisis narrative is being used as an additional reason to postpone or avoid this project while the region addresses the complex issue of housing the encampment's residents? Janice, I hadn't thought of that. I think it's an interesting question, and your suggestion that the water crisis is manufactured is certainly backed up by our guest, Chris Garrett, the engineer who constructed about 2/3 of the wells within the Mannheim system. This is a paper problem. All of a sudden, there's this 20 to 30% sustainability buffer, but no rationale for the selection of that particular buffer. Everything is fine, except in the messaging we are hearing from the region of Waterloo. The plot thickens, as they say, but we're just sitting here as Joe and Jane Public trying to make sense of it all. Are you making any more sense of it today than you were yesterday or a month or so ago when we first learned about this? Do you, like Janice, think that there might be something else at play here that the region is protecting against? Your thoughts always welcome on the Mike Farwell Show. Phone lines are open to you on 570 News Radio and Rogers TV.
On average, the assets appear as though they're in good shape. And if they have operational issues that need to be addressed, I would think that that's something they could do in the shorter term. Now, their January 28th meeting, they did lay out a plan of some near, medium, and long-term things they can do to address the crisis. But I can't stress enough that the system is operating currently as it always has. So I don't see the need to freeze development.
I'm starting to wonder if we are in the midst of a crisis at all. And we've talked about this on the show over the years. I mean, if you use a word too often, it begins to lose its meaning, doesn't it? Everything cannot possibly be an emergency or a crisis or whatnot have you. And when we heard, I don't know about you, but I can tell you from where I'm sitting this morning, I was quite taken aback, alarmed probably, to learn of the problems we were having with water in this region, such that we suddenly said, we have enough right now, but we cannot move forward with much, if anything else, because we don't have enough water in the system. The two sides don't talk to one another well enough. Another two systems have different methods of treatment, and so if you mix the two, you're going to get this foul odor and this, that, and then, of course, simpleton like me says, well, why don't you just treat the water for both systems the same way and thus not have that potential for a foul odor when the water mixes? That's just me. That's just me. But the deeper we go into this, the more it seems as though there is a reason for the freeze in development beyond what the region is telling us. That's the way it's starting to feel. 519-570-2545, star 570, and 1-800-570-5715. Chris Garrett's our guest, an engineer engaged by the Waterloo Regional Home Builders Association to work on this file, made the point, and it resonates with me, that Waterloo Region has long been seen as a champion when it comes to how we manage our groundwater supply. And the fact that it is a supply of largely groundwater makes us incredibly unique in this country. It's a wonderful system that has been heralded as a hallmark of our excellent planning and excellent water management. And suddenly, seemingly overnight, poof, we've got this problem. Chris Garrett points out on a LinkedIn thread of conversation. Number one, there is no immediate problem. There's enough water to meet demands with adequate buffer. And don't forget, Chris Garrett and his family company constructed about 2/3 of the wells within the Mannheim water system. Number two, a problem, Chris writes, arises when the region and their consultants arbitrarily decide to add a 20 to 30% sustainability buffer with no rationale for selection of that buffer. Number three, it is convenient that the arbitrarily selected sustainability buffer almost perfectly uses up remaining system capacity. Number four, how is it possible that suddenly in 2025, staff have determined that there is not enough system pressure to supply Mannheim from the adjacent system? Why is that not being addressed with the immediate construction of a booster station? And number five, the Mannheim water treatment plant has capacity decreased by 40%. That's a huge amount. What are repairs not being made to recover that 40%? These are things posted in a conversation on LinkedIn by Chris Garrett, leading us to reach out to him for the show this morning. Bob is on the phone with us. Good morning, Bob.
Hi, Mike. You can call me Robert.
Okay, Robert.
At any rate, I'm just wondering if the region, because I know there's a lot of farms, residential units, they have their own wells. Like, is that monitored? Do they know how much water those are using and taking the water out of the system? I don't know. It's just something I was wondering about because there's a lot.
Yeah, you know what, Bob? That's a great question. And as I understand it, the answer is yes. Even the private well on your property is monitored to some extent. And what extent that is, I'm sorry, I haven't the foggiest because I don't have one of those wells. But it is monitored to some extent by the region itself. And we've heard from folks living in those rural areas who have their own wells talking about the differences they have seen in water pressure, water availability, former ponds, man-made, that ended up somewhere, or naturally made ponds that have dried up over the years. It's an interesting time when it comes to water in this region, and we'll get the perspective of Ontario NDP leader Marit Stiles on this problem, and I'm sure she's got others she'd like to address when she joins us on the show next. This is the Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. Well, for the second time today on the show already, and we're just barely an hour into the show. But I will remind you that I will always speak to you the truth, at least my truth. I will never mislead you. And so I'll fill you in on a little list that I keep. It's not really a long list because this doesn't happen all that often, but when it does, the name goes onto the list. I have a name for this list that I will not use on the air because it's not radio friendly, but I think you know the kind of list I'm talking about. And so, scheduled to join us at this very moment on the show, at her request, or at least her party's request, was the leader of Ontario's NDP. She spent the past couple of days doing things here in the region, wanted to stop by the show and share her message with you. The opposition is always interested in sharing messages with you and telling you what they think the government of the day is doing wrong. I'm always happy to provide that opportunity. You want to hear those messages? Well, maybe you don't want to hear the messages, but heck, I'm happy to allow the opposition to share those messages with you. And so, again, at the Ontario New Democrats' request, we set aside time, this very time, this morning, for Leader Marit Stiles to join us on the show. And Ontario NDP leader Marit Stiles is a no-show. Not here at the scheduled time. And up until this point, more than 5 minutes after she was to have called us, we have failed in our bid to track her down. So Ms. Stiles' name goes on that list that I keep. And it's very difficult to get one's name off that list. If there is another request coming from the Ontario NDP in the near future, you can guess where that request is going to be filed. I make the time. If you choose not to take advantage of it, I get insulted by that. Flat out, straight truth to you. That really chafes my chaps. So the name goes on the list. They can grovel their way off the list if they want to, but it ain't going to happen anytime soon because not only am I honest, I'm stubborn. And I'm honest about being stubborn. I will tell you how stubborn I am. You'll see how stubborn I am because of how long it takes for Ontario's New Democrats to find their way back onto this show. Poor form. Oh, can we please come on the show? Yes, I'll make time for you. Oh, then you won't show up at that time? Cool. That's how we're going to do it today. What I will go back to, though, is something we touched on during the Farwell Show 5 this morning because I got an email from Mike about that. And I know this has always been a bit of a hot button issue. So we are expecting to learn today from the federal Liberal government that the EV sales mandate, the electric vehicle sales mandate, is going to be scrapped. It will instead be replaced with new vehicle emissions standards. And I find this interesting because it is the same government made up of mostly the same people, albeit with a different leader and some new faces, but mostly the same people who championed the EV sales mandate in the past and who are now, I assume, along with leader Mark Carney, celebrating its erasure. And I just, look, it's the same thing that I saw on social media just moments ago during that 10 a.m. update with a federal minister talking about getting tough on bail, making bail reforms, this and that. And somebody pointed out, you've been in government for 11 years. So don't talk to me today about this. You could have talked to me about this 11 years ago, that sort of idea. But I do find it interesting that these policies that were championed are now, I assume, being celebrated because they are being removed. The other thing that struck me is that it sounds as though this government is going to offer incentives once again for consumers who wish to buy electric vehicles. So there will be some rebates attached. And I've always struggled with this, the whole idea of, well, it's not really corporate welfare, but in a sense it is, right? Because if the only way you can convince the public to buy an electric vehicle is to bring down the price point, shouldn't it be up to the market to do this? Right? And maybe it is. Maybe it's the Chinese electric vehicles that will be imported at a much lower cost. I don't know. I do know that one of the sticking points for me when it comes to electric vehicles is the cost. So to Mike's email, writing to Mike at 570news.com. The EV rebate, Mike says, I think is a great thing. You said price was only one reason you wouldn't get one, but I think that more people buy them and drive them, the more people that buy and drive them, the less disinformation that will be out there. Mike believes it's the oil and gas companies putting out the disinformation, and it will all be squashed by real-world experience. Mike writes, I have a Tesla, and I drive 65,000 kilometers a year, no issues at 200,000 kilometers on my 2022 Tesla. Love that for you, Mike. I really do. And it is a great case study for those of us who are a little more reluctant when it comes to electric vehicles. Again, the idea of the price is only one of the challenges I personally face. Frankly, I don't drive a ton, which would make an electric vehicle probably really suitable for me. But I also drive a vehicle that's got low emissions. Again, it's not on the road a lot. I'm not crazy about the idea of building the infrastructure into my home to charge that vehicle on an ongoing basis. I don't know about when I take road trips, which I like to do, that I'm going to find the reliable charging stations along the way. I don't think there are enough charging stations, etc. Although there are charging stations here at the boardwalk. I could bring my vehicle to work and charge it while I'm here. All kinds of things I could do, but I just haven't. And maybe that's me, part of that stubbornness. Yeah, am I going to change at this point? It's been pretty easy just to go out to the car, put the key in, and drive away every day for these last 40 years almost that I've been driving. Anyway, I'm not sure about the subsidy because this is the government pouring more money into the market. And I'm not sure that electric vehicles are going to be the cure-all that we all hope them to be for the environment. So I would love to get your thoughts on walking back the electric vehicle sales mandate and if a rebate is enough incentive for you to get into the electric vehicle market. Maybe you're like Mike, you're already in the market and you want to sing the praises of the EV. Hey, I'm all ears for that as well. George is on the phone with us this morning. Good morning, George.
Good morning, Mike. Could you imagine someday you and your buddy going for a bike trip, not on an e-bike, but an electric motorcycle? What would that be like for you and your buddy?
It's a great question, George, and we've actually talked about it before because while you're on the motorcycle trip, which my buddy and I have done for many summers consecutively now, you get into your destination for the night, you have a conversation, and you're like, it's kind of a weird thing, isn't it? To be out here and the sole idea of the vacation is to burn petrol, as we say, right? And drive around from one place to another place and then stop and have a bite to eat and a little sleep. And you go out and you get back on that machine and you burn some more petrol going to the next place. And I just don't know what it would look like. I know I've heard from people who own electric vehicles that there are all kinds of apps to use and places to go to charge up those vehicles. Fantastic. And again, if that's the story you want to share, I'm here for it. You can educate me a little bit on the whole process. But I'm curious, is a rebate on the electric vehicle cost enough incentive for you to get into the EV market? And do you want the federal government subsidizing these purchases? I mean, is it up to me to subsidize my neighbor's electric vehicle purchase? I don't know how I feel about that. I really don't. And then, of course, there's the irony of all of the MPs in the federal Liberal government today celebrating the end of the electric vehicle mandate, or at least supporting the end of it, when 3 years ago, they were celebrating its implementation. Very curious times. Kyle, good morning.
I don't get it. I mean, I don't know if you saw the recent news, but Ford just dropped making their Lightning, which is an all-electric truck. And they're now, manufacturers have changed their way of doing things. I think I remember, I don't know if you remember, I told you this about the Scout Harvester, which is the vehicle that I'm looking into getting in the future, which is not a fully electric truck, but it's an electric truck that has a generator hooked up to it. So you drive around, let's say you do 500, 600 kilometers an hour, or sorry, not an hour, 600 kilometers on an electric charge. Once that battery gets low to, let's say, 30%, the engine, the generator will kick on and then recharge that battery while you're driving, so that way it's still 100% electric mode, powering the wheels. So I don't understand why we're incentivizing something that manufacturers. Ford has dropped the Lightning. Volkswagen said they're not going to bring that Buzz or whatever it's called, their electric van. They're stopping production on that because sales are so low. So, like, why are we being kind of forced in a way to buy electric and get these? I don't want to be paying somebody to buy an electric vehicle. That's my tax money going against that, right? So I just thought on that, but it's very interesting why we're kind of doing that. It just boggles my mind, especially the way manufacturers have changed what they're doing now because of the low sales of these vehicles that are coming out, Mike. So, yep.
Kyle, appreciate the call. Good to hear from you, from somebody that I know would be in the market. We've talked to Kyle before about this as a courier driver, right? He says he would love to be in an electric vehicle, but it's not going to provide him the same livelihood that his gasoline-powered vehicles do today. That might change. I'll point you to did we go full? I think we did go fully electric on the buses here for several of them, and they can't even run a full route for Grand River Transit without needing to be taken back in for a recharge, and that's not going to work for our transit system here in the region. So, yeah, again, it's the idea of the government inserting itself into the market. The market will figure things out. And I know that's not always the best way. I've heard the criticisms of that, but I just don't know why it's up to me through my tax dollars to support your purchase of an electric vehicle. If you want an electric vehicle, go buy one. Simple as that. I shouldn't be subsidizing it through my taxes. I don't think. But I'm always happy to hear from you on the show. We'll take more calls right after this time out on the Mike Farwell Show. This is 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. Sounds like we are going to be incentivized once again here in Canada to buy an electric vehicle, some federal government subsidy coming our way. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Is it up to me to subsidize your purchase of an electric vehicle? Can't you do that all by yourself, you wealthier than I person, you? Let's go back to the phone to take more calls. Barbara, good morning.
Good morning, Mike. I figure it's a good day to talk about the water crisis and how it intersects with sewers. I'll be going to regional council in a couple of weeks. I can't get out of the house right now because I have a broken ankle, but to talk about this stuff. But I want to talk about one thing here that's...
Okay, hang on. Sorry. So you're focused on water and our sewers?
The intersection between water and sewer, they go together. The water...
Sorry, I'm trying to talk about the electric vehicle mandate right now is all.
I'm sorry. I thought there was open phones or whatever. Okay, that's fine. Buy a bicycle. You don't need an electric vehicle.
All right, Barbara. Look, open phones for Talkback between noon and 1, okay? I just tried to stay on the topic that we're discussing at this point. So Sean is with us now. Good morning, Sean.
Good morning, Mike. I honestly think the whole thing is wrong-headed. Okay, answer me this. What is the whole point of buying an electric car?
Saving on gas, I guess?
No, the whole point is for the environment, okay? So everybody just thinks about the tailpipe emissions, which is zero. They don't think about the manufacturing pollution, the cost. If you really want to save the environment, save money, this money should be going towards transit, not towards perpetuating our private vehicle culture, quite honestly. we're just going to keep having the same problems we have now, except with electric vehicles instead of gasoline-powered vehicles. So I really don't think we should be putting out these paybacks of our tax money to wealthy people to buy electric vehicles.
Yeah, Sean, it's an interesting point. And we know that the problems that have been created by the number of personal vehicles on the road, congestion, et cetera, go well beyond just their emissions. So to Sean's point, if we've got money to spare federally, then why don't we invest it in solid, sustainable transit infrastructure? Good point. John, good morning.
Hespler Johnny, Michael.
Hespler Johnny, my good buddy. How are you?
Good day. How are you?
I'm good as well. Thank you.
Good. Okay, listen, not in favor of these rebates at all for the reasons that everybody stated already. It should be market-driven. If there's enough people that want to buy them, and I'd consider buying one if they were even the same price, but lower would be better. And I like the point that the gentleman just made about the public transit. You know me, I live in Cambridge, and that LRT is not coming here. I don't care what you guys are being told. It ain't happening.
Come on, have some faith, Johnny. Have some faith.
It would be great if we sunk some money into transit. I'm all in favor of that, but not in favor of any subsidies to any business for any reason. Thanks, Michael.
All right, Hespler Johnny weighing in. And that's an interesting point to connect it to light rail phase 2, because if the federal government seems to think it has money in the pot to subsidize electric vehicle purchases, is that going to be money coming out of the same pot that could partially fund phase 2 of light rail, $4.5 billion to get the system into Cambridge? I don't know. I don't know what the pots of money look like there in Ottawa. I just know they seem to have lots of pots they keep reaching into, and they don't give a tinker's darn about the deficit. What was the number we heard yesterday on the show? $56 billion a year, more than we spend on health care nationally, on debt service. That's what we're paying in interest on our debt. I don't know. Might be a good time at this time, just ahead of our 10:30 update and our weekly conversation with Gary Chalk on Living Retired, to remind you that not everybody is a jackwagon. I pledged to do this every day on the show this year. The reminder that, as frustrated as we sometimes get, there are good people, very good people in the world. And I think we can call 13-year-old Austin Appleby a hero. The Australian teen was vacationing with his mother and 2 younger siblings, a younger brother, a younger sister, when they had a paddleboarding mishap. They got swept out to sea, and it was decided that Austin was their only hope. Imagine mom saying, look, the 8-year-old and the 12-year-old can't do it. Austin, my 13-year-old, get to shore and get help. So Austin leaves the paddleboard and his family in an inflatable kayak, but that kayak starts taking on water, so Austin has to swim. His life jacket is impeding his swimming stroke, so he ditches his life jacket too, but he still had 4 kilometers to swim until he could reach dry land.
One of the hardest decisions I ever had to make was to say to Austin, try and get to shore and get some help. This could get really serious really quickly.
I was really scared. I was just thinking in my head, thinking I was going to make it through.
Austin did finish that swim. Took him 4 hours to do it. He made it to shore. He collapsed on the beach, caught his breath, got up, ran to a phone to call for help. His mom, his 12-year-old brother, and his 8-year-old sister were all rescued after spending about 10 hours on the water, clinging to a paddleboard and wearing life jackets.
I feel like I'm recovering very fine. My legs are extremely sore from the very long swim and the very long run. On the mental side, it's been a bit challenging. Sometimes if I'm lying down in bed, I can still feel the waves.
Still feels the waves. This memory will last for quite some time for Austin Appleby, who is now definitely a hero. And now you remember, not everybody is a jackwagon, not even those pesky 13-year-old kids. Good job, Austin Appleby, reminding us today that not everybody is a jackwagon. If you know somebody who's not, by all means, drop me an email, mike@570news.com. Happy to share their story on the show. I'm going to get you to the 570 News Center for that aforementioned update. And then, as we do every Thursday morning, just after the 10:30 news, Gary Chalk, humor columnist of Living Retired, joins us to bring that to life on our show. It's the Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio and Rogers TV.
Hookah chaka, hookah, hookah, hookah chaka, hookah, hookah, hookah chaka, hookah, hookah, hookah chaka, hookah, hookah. I can't stop this feeling deep inside of me. Girl, you just don't realize what you do to me. When you hold me in your arms so tight, you let me know everything's alright. I'm hooked on a feeling.
Every Thursday morning at this time, we get hooked on that humorous feeling. It's not an ooga chaka. It's a Gary Chalk. Gary Chalk, the author of the humor column Living Retired. He joins us Thursday mornings at this time to bring the column to life. So excited is our loyal listener, Mary, Farwell's Force member number 1. She called earlier, more than an hour ago, said she's looking so forward to this. I can just imagine. I can picture Mary right now pedaling her bike even faster because she likes to pedal her bike and get some exercise while she listens to the show. And she pedals faster. There's more of a spring in her step when Living Retired comes on every Thursday morning. And Mary said, I'd love to meet Gary someday. You know what? Just go to one of the events that Gary is speaking at. You too can have Gary at your event to share a few words and his unique humorous style. Just go to livingretired.press, read the humor column, get in touch with Gary, sign up for the weekly newsletter so the column gets delivered directly to your inbox. All of those great things at livingretired.press. But on Thursday morning, the man is here in person with us on the show. Good morning, Gary.
Hey, good morning, Mike with a mic. And Mary on her bike, I'm convinced she's a big wheel.
Yeah, she's the biggest wheel we got. Farwell's Force member number 1, don't you know?
You got it.
Yes, sir.
She's a good spokesperson for you, Mike.
Well done, sir. Keep it up. I like this.
Hey, I'm telling you. Hey, remember last week we were talking about my daytimer issue, the daytimer, which I describe as the size of a National Geographic magazine. And I think, as I recall, you like to use the same approach as opposed to the technology. Anyways, we talked about during Christmas and New Year's, Jan and I went to a coffee shop. I sat down with my 2026 daytimer, the size of a National Geographic magazine, and she had her electronics. We entered in all her stuff for the year. And then I said I lost it, and I bought another one. I was $60 in.
$60 on daytimers, Gary.
On daytimers, and by then it wasn't even 2026. Well, Mike, I'm not making. I speak the truth.
I do know this. Yes,
it's true. No sooner than I had that set up, last Friday, I got an email for an appointment that I need to put in my 2027 daytimer.
Come on, Gary, we're only a month into 2026.
I know. Now I'm going to let you. It's for January the 4th, 2027. What do you think this is an appointment for?
It's got to be a knee or a hip replacement.
Ooh, you are close. I have a little thing going on in my left arm, and they said they want to have an MRI. So they said January 4th, 2027.
Gary, the issue, that little issue might be gone by then.
Well, that's it. I mean, I'd give an arm and a leg if I could move that MRI up sooner. Oh, dear. Hey, the Winter Olympics are upon us. It's time to veg and eat Doritos. Starts tomorrow.
Wait a minute. We're only allowed to do that during the Olympics?
Well, for me it is.
Okay.
All the other times it's potato chips.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. I veg and eat Doritos all the time.
Hey, did you know I was an Olympian once? Not a celebrated Olympian, but back in the 1988 Calgary Winter Games, I was a torch runner, and I ran the torch for a kilometer somewhere between Dundas and Linden, and I still have the uniform that they gave me. It's a beautiful thing with a lovely crest. Doesn't fit, but I've got it.
That's fantastic. I love that.
Yeah. So this is the XXV Games. Do you know what XXV is? Do you know what it is? XXV?
XXV? No.
Yeah.
Wait, 25.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just asking.
No, okay, I think it's 25. I'm going to go with 25.
Okay, well, I checked, and what I found from XXV, it's Roman for dope testing, cheating, and controversy.
Gary.
And can you imagine back when it was the XX games? Some people got confused. They thought they were XX rated, which is a different set of games altogether.
It is absolutely a different set of games, yes.
So how do we get to where we are today? The organizers, they select between eventually two countries who didn't know what the heck they were thinking and put their country forward as to be a host location. And they got down this time to Sweden and Italy. And now to be awarded the games, the cities fight it out with each other. And the important criteria that the games organizers are looking for, they want countries with political instability, corruption, and economic turmoil. That's at the top of the list when they're grading. So I checked. Sweden has a $102 billion deficit, $102 billion for Sweden. Italy has, get this, a mammoth $3.2 trillion deficit. I mean, the choice was clear. Italy won.
I'm starting to feel better about our deficit all of a sudden, Gary.
Exactly. And as soon as the announcement was made, the Italians, they had a quickly organized cabinet meeting, the government, and they said, we demand a recount. We think the vote was rigged. You know, they don't want the Olympics coming in. And the economists then weighed in. They stated that Italy will add to their current $3.2 trillion deficit above an amount equal to what Taylor Swift made in the first week of her Eras tour.
I'm still trying to count up all that money.
Oh, you'll just keep counting, Mike. I've got some stats for you. How many athletes do you think are going to be at the games this year?
42,006.
Athletes?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I have no idea. See? I went big, Gary. I went big.
Okay. The number I have is MMDCCCLXX, which converted is 2,872.
Okay, I like it.
The number of doping tests, 2,872.
Makes sense.
Potential number of positive tests, 2,872. The number just keeps resonating, Mike, but it looks high, but it's the Olympics. So tomorrow night, the opening ceremony, huge spectacle. You going to watch?
Not the opening ceremony, but I will watch some of the games.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Billions of people around the world are going to watch on television as these 2,872 athletes march into the stadium. They're all waving flags, dancing, and taking selfies. Now, if it's like our place, Jan, she likes to look forward and to see what the athletes are wearing, you know, what their official uniform is and what they're dressed in. Me, particularly for the Summer Olympics, I just keep looking for the women's beach volleyball team to see what they're going to be wearing.
You mean what they're not wearing, Gary?
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
One of the most anticipated events, of course, figure skating. This is the sport, the Olympic sport, that epitomizes what the Olympic Games are all about.
Corruption?
Well, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Cheating, right?
Right.
Athleticism.
Yeah.
And makeup for the female skaters.
Okay.
So, of course, we can all look forward to the skaters when they finish their 4-minute routine. I always find this amazing. I'm watching. They conclude the 4-minute skating routine, then they stand at center ice, and for 30 minutes they bow. They bow every direction. I mean, I'm sure they're going to get sore backs just bowing that much. And then after that, they skate over, make their way to the kiss and cry area. You know what that is?
Oh, for sure.
Sure.
The flowers are there. Everybody, the team staff is there.
The team staff, the coaches, they always have some sort of a I don't know, stuffed animal they picked up at Disney or whatever, and they hug that. And they sit in there, and while the judges are trying to finish up their cheating, the figure skaters put on their warm-up jackets, and they wait for the marks. But in these games, the Italians, they've expanded the kiss and cry area. They have an area behind for the cabinet of the Italian government, who also will be crying because they decided to host the Winter Olympics. And here's the thing. To become the epicenter of cheating, dope testing, and controversy, you always have to have some sort of something that doesn't go well. There's a setback. Or as they say in Italy, meglio tardinesce me. Now, that sounds more French, but that's my Italian. Meglio tardinesce me means better late than never. And it brings this around quickly to the construction of the hockey arena. They came up short, more than a meter.
Yes, they did.
In the length of the service. They only discovered it after the ads had been painted on the rink, the obligatory European car was put up in the corner stands, and the Olympic logo, which is a Ferrero Rocher hockey puck, was painted at center ice. And what happened, the Zamboni driver, he was out practicing and just sort of getting used to this rink. And what he said in Italian was "Pensavia de farcio a curvar," which when you translate it to English means, "Oh my gosh, I thought I had enough room to make the turn."
But he didn't make the turn, and we all know how that ends up. Gary Chalk joins us every Thursday morning, 10:30, to bring his humor column, Living Retired, to life on the show. I was just telling you the other day about Farwell's Force member number 35, Clinton, who checked in with his New Year's resolution. He's been doing great. Not a drop of alcohol, the gym 4 days a week. He's down 13 pounds. How's your New Year's resolution going? We'll check in with Gary and Living Retired on that coming up on the Mike Farwell Show. 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. It is Thursday morning, and every Thursday morning at this time, we are joined by humor columnist Gary Chalk. He writes a humor column by the name of Living Retired, brings it to life on our show every Thursday morning. So, Gary, we're a month and a bit into the new year. How about that resolution, buddy?
Well, it goes back to that daytimer thing, you know. But we're 5 weeks in, and I celebrated that I had broken my New Year's resolution. I held on until about noon on January 1st, and then I packed it in with chicken wings and beer and that. But everyone living retired stayed up late on New Year's Eve, had a drink, and went to bed around 9:30 or so, and then they started their resolutions. Just quick question. I think you said you don't do resolutions each year?
That's correct. I try to just do a little bit better every day, Gary. I don't need a special day to make a resolution.
Oh, aren't you special?
Well,
you also talked about touching your toes. Was that going to become sort of a resolution?
Well, see, that was the problem. That was 2025's resolution. Yeah, and guess how I'm doing on that, Gary?
Oh, I'm telling you, I don't make resolutions. But that doesn't mean I have to make some changes to my life, because Jan makes New Year's resolutions for me.
Perfect. That's a good woman right there.
Well, what a job. You just say, lose weight, stop drinking, get exercise, and hand it over, and that's my list. So helpful.
Yeah, you don't need to think about it at all.
No, exactly. So here's what Jan wants me to improve in 2026. First one, Gary, I want you to be nice to Siri. And here's an example. She said, Gary, if we're driving and we need some directions, you'll press the button and you'll say, give me directions to Toronto. And she says, Gary, just be polite. Say, Siri, may I please have directions to Toronto? Does your wife do that when you're driving?
My wife covers her eyes when I'm driving, Gary.
Here's another example. Jan, well, I don't know whether she watches television, movies, or reads them, because she always turns on that closed captioning feature.
It drives me nuts. I can't do it.
Well, I can't do it. I can barely understand what the movie's doing, let alone have to read the script that the actors are trying to say.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm so frustrated. So she'll turn the TV off. I'll come back on. I'll turn the TV, and the closed captioning's still on. So I'll pick up the remote and I'll say, turn closed captioning off.
You demand that of the remote.
That's right. And Jan says, Gary, be polite. All you need to say is, please turn closed captioning off. I think she thinks Siri is a real person.
Well, isn't she? Somebody's voice is behind that, isn't it?
Somewhere.
Yeah.
There's another resolution Jan made for me for 2026. This is a big ask, Mike. This is a big ask. She wants me to stop blaming her every time I can't find my glasses, my iPhone, my wallet, and my keys.
Oh, yeah.
Not just one, 4. This, Mike, happens multiple times a day. I mean, before I say good morning and when I get up out of bed, I'm trying to find my glasses, my iPhone, my wallet, my keys. It never happens. Now, here's another one. You may think I'm just a little strange. Well, I guess I am. Jan gets upset. You know those plastic or cardboard twist ties they put on loaves of bread?
Sure, of course.
Yeah. Well, I get the bread out, and I'm going to make a sandwich, and I twist it off, and I put it on the kitchen countertop, get out the slice of bread, make the sandwich. Then I can't find the twist tie because it's it's camouflage. It blends in with the countertop. And I'm thinking it's down to some sort of a well, I think the manufacturers of bread, they're in cahoots with the people who make the granite countertops. So your twist tie sort of disappears right in it. And before you know it, I'm feeling with my hands all across the countertop. Can't find it. Then, boy, you shouldn't do this when you're living too hard. I'm down on my hands and knees on the floor trying to find it. It's a conspiracy, Mike, between the bakers and guys making a sandwich and the people who design the colors of the granite countertops. And Jan gets so upset at me because I just get so upset with the color of the little twist tie. Just a little thing in my mind, but to her, it demands that it become a resolution in 2026.
Okay, stop complaining about losing it, or maybe, I don't know, figure out how to find it. We should get you like my mom used to call them idiot mittens, the mittens with the strings, right? So we should get you an idiot twist tie.
I'm sort of hoping Jan's not listening here. She understands the idiot right away.
Of course.
Hey, and why is it every time when we go to the self-checkout at the grocery store, I wave that can of soup over the price scanner? I can't manage, no matter how hard I try, to get the scanner to read the barcode. I'm twisting the item this way and that way, over here, back there, up there. It will not read the price. Mike, it doesn't matter whether it's a can of soup, my Doritos for the Olympics, some milk, some cheese, whatever. I look like an idiot. I'm flailing my stuff all over. I'm frustrated. Jan, she's embarrassed. And so what she decides to do, because she's the polite person, she very kindly explains the issue about me not being able to scan my box of Tide to all the customers standing behind. It's sort of a sympathy vote, and she feels better for doing that, being nice, standing behind me while I'm flailing away.
You know, Gary, there are people who are professional, expertly trained to scan those barcodes. And for some reason, we don't ask them to do their jobs anymore. We do their jobs for them.
Yep, that's it. Yep, you're a smart man, Mike. Another one of Jan's New Year's resolutions for me in 2026. Our granddaughters, they enjoy going to McDonald's for lunch. And so we order, and I'll get their order for their Happy Meal, and then I'll order myself a hamburger and ask for no pickles. That sort of stops the whole production line. No pickles? I mean, they got to figure out how to do this. So I find, quite honestly, Mike, that Jan says, well, Gary, just take the pickles off yourself. What I've discovered, it turns a Happy Meal into a disaster with our grandchildren. I mean, they're with their grandfather. They're at an age, they sort of get embarrassed and they sort of look around. So no more doing that. Another one up, this one, I think you can identify with this. When I fill up my car with gas, I want the amount that I have to pay that comes up on the pump there. I want it to be an even dollar. Like, I don't want to have $59.92. I try to bring it up to an even $60. So I very quickly grasp and then release the handle on the pump, and it goes from $59.92 to $59.97. I need 3 more cents to make it 60. Make a quick click. It's now $60.01.
And you got to go to 61 then, don't you?
Now I got to go 61.
Gary, I'm telling you, I used to be you. It is the best feeling in the world to stop that. Just pump till it stops, take it out, doesn't matter. $68.22, and you're on your way.
There's got to be some sort of a support group for me there.
All right.
Another thing, very quickly.
We've got to be quick because we're almost out.
Please listen carefully as our items have changed on the phone. When I hear that message, I lose it.
Items have changed on the phone.
The menu, you make the phone call and they say, please listen carefully.
Oh, yes, of course.
We imagine how productive our country could be if we didn't have to have all these people saying that.
The time we could save, Gary, but we're out of time this morning. Thank you as always.
It's always a good time.
Gary Chalk joins us Thursday mornings, 10:30 for Living Retired. You can find it online, livingretired.press. While you're there, sign up for the weekly column to be delivered right to your inbox and get in touch with Gary. He is more than happy to bring his unique stylings to your corporate event or your service club or whatever it is you might be looking for. Gary Chalk joins us Thursday mornings, 10:30 for Living Retired. Off to the 570 News Center we go, and then it's the first Thursday of the month. That means a Throwback Thursday with the City of Waterloo Museum. And I'll bet you didn't know everything about the Olympic glory of Waterloo's past, but you'll find out next on a Throwback Thursday. This is the Mike Farwell Show, 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. It is not just any old Thursday here on the show. It is the first Thursday of the month, and on the first Thursday of every month, just after the 11 a.m. news, we check in with our friends at the City of Waterloo Museum for a little something we call Throwback Thursday. Jennifer Huber is a program and engagement associate with the City of Waterloo Museum and joins us on the first Thursday of every month for these chats. Jennifer, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having us as we take a step back in time to uncover fascinating stories from our city's past.
I always learn so much from these. Like, I thought I knew a thing or two about the place that I live, Jen. I'm not even close. I am so full of myself. I love these conversations, and especially this time around because the Olympics, the official opening ceremonies are tomorrow night, but the games are already underway. And I guess there are many connections in Waterloo's past to the Olympic Games themselves.
Yes, I love the Olympics. I have many fond memories growing up of watching the Olympics. And one of my favorite parts is the opening ceremonies. And that's kind of how I ended up on this rabbit trail. I was looking at some of the advertisements for some of this year's Canadian gear produced by Lululemon. There was a little bit of suggestion that maybe we should switch it out last minute to these white fleeces from this Canadian TV show that was being suggested. And through all that conversation and advertising, it got me thinking, what have Canadian athletes worn in the past? And what were some of these iconic outfits? So I'm sure many listeners are picturing some of those moments of those very famous looks that our athletes have sported over time. But it was through that kind of deep dive back in history that I came across a Waterloo connection to our Olympic outfit.
Okay, so when was it that Waterloo helped to produce one of our Olympic outfits?
So I want to take everybody back to 1968. We're going to be heading to France, where Grenoble was hosting the Olympics that year, the Winter Olympics. And what I didn't know was Calgary was a very second close city selection for that year. They were missed out by just 3 votes in hosting. So in France, it starts actually February 6th, the same time that it'll start this year for us. And it was the very first time we actually had color broadcasting for the Olympics, which proves to be pretty helpful when we get into the outfits there. Canada that year sent 70 athletes, 55 men and 15 women, for a return of medals of maybe not quite what they were hoping for, but we medaled in 3 sports. We had a gold and a silver in alpine skiing and a bronze in hockey.
I don't know. We better do better than that this year, Jen. We need more than 3 medals, okay? But good for us in 1968, medaling 3 times. Okay, so what's the Waterloo connection then?
Yes. So as our athletes marched in, the main contract for the outfits was given to Hudson's Bay, and they had many of the contracts in and around the 1960s. But what our athletes wore as they walked through the Olympic Stadium was they were wearing an outfit inspired by the famous Hudson's Bay 4-stripe blankets. If folks can bring those back to their memories. This year, it was the white blanket with the thick banded 4-colored stripes that was actually turned into a jacket. The jacket hit just below the hips and was paired with a nice clean looking black slack and a warm but rather sizable furry white hat on top. But it's not that I want to take us to. I want to bring you to what was underneath those Hudson's Bay jackets. It was a vibrant red knit V-neck sweater, and it had this beautiful little white trim that highlighted the outlining of the sweater, both on the neck, the little pocket square, and along the bottom of it. And just on the one breast pocket, you saw the Canadian maple leaf in its beautiful red with the Olympic rings right below it. Now, this just wasn't any red knit sweater. They were ones that were made right here in Waterloo by Ingo Chappelle. Now, Mike, does that name sound familiar to you? Do you have one of those sitting in the back of your closet?
Okay, first of all, you described that sweater so beautifully. I love it. I can picture it in my mind's eye. And do I have an Ingo, Jen Huber? Here's the problem. Not anymore. But as a proud Jerry's boy, I went to St. Jerome's High School in Kitchener, and the Ingo sweater was part of our official uniform. It wasn't red, though. It was navy, but you bet I had one. I no longer have it, but I'll bet you this much, too. I'll bet you that thing still looks great because that was a well-made garment.
It sure was. It sure was. And there's still tons of them floating around in thrift stores and so forth. And I bet you there's a few folks who still have theirs hiding in their closet.
Probably do. They probably do. And maybe they fit better than my old Ingo from St. Jerome's would still fit. Okay, so tell us more, Jen, about who Ingo Chappelle is and why he was making these sweaters.
Yeah, so Ingo Chappelle was actually born in Austria. So he was born over in Europe. And around the age 15, he started to apprentice in clothing and knitting shops and so forth, learning the trade a bit over in Germany. In the late 1950s, he immigrates over to Canada, settles right here in Kitchener-Waterloo. What I love about immigration stories is hearing what people brought with them. And what he brought with him was a single knitting machine and a head full of dreams and designs. And what more can one ask for? So from his home, when he settled into Kitchener-Waterloo, he started making knit sweaters predominantly, made some coats and some skirts on the side as well. But he started just selling these these sweaters from his own home and making a little bit of money that way.
So how does he go then?
There.
Sorry, I lost you for a second.
Go ahead.
Well, okay, first of all, where was the home? Because I'm sure we could probably recognize the area of Waterloo where it was.
Yeah, so it's a small little home that he was making it out of. After 5 years of doing the business from his family home, he moves to 20 John Street West. It's kind of near the corner of today Caroline and John Street, tucked in almost behind the Sun Life building as it was today.
Okay, I know that spot. So how then does Ingo Chappelle's business grow from selling sweaters at home to opening that shop on John Street?
It really starts in 1966. He's entered into what they at the time called the Edie Awards. And basically these were design awards of a whole variety with really the goal of featuring Canadian-made design and manufacturing, new ideas, innovation, and what was coming out of our area. So it's here that he enters his sweaters into 3 different categories, and he becomes the winner of those 3 categories. So he won in ski wear, curling wear, and the general knit sweater division. Sounds like his clothing might be leading into a nice winter design. But not only were they beautifully designed, handcrafted pieces, but as you mentioned, they were really durable. So they were high quality pieces as well. And it's this kind of award that he wins and is noted all over that leads him to producing the Team Canada uniforms for the '68 Olympics in France.
So how did our winter athletes that year in '68 appreciate these designs from Ingo Chappelle? Did they like them? I know you were talking about this at the outset, how much we enjoy this clothing. How did the athletes feel about it?
They loved it. They thought it was wonderful. It did everything they needed it to do. And that only spurred on his popularity and his business as well. So from the Olympic Games, he went on to do the Pan Am Games in the 1970s. And here he did a slightly different, they described it as a mounty red V-neck pullover style sweater. This time, the crest was placed in the center at the point of the V, and it was paired with another locally made product. Does Greb shoes sound familiar to you?
It sure does.
So paired with our Ingo sweater was black slip-on hush puppy shoes for the men and triple strapped red leather high heel hush puppies for the women. Now, Ingo produced over 200 sweaters for the athletes that were heading to those Pan Am Games, which were in Germany that particular year.
Jennifer Huber joins us on the first Thursday of every month from the City of Waterloo Museum. She's a program and engagement associate there for a Throwback Thursday. My fellow Jerry's boys, I know you remember those Ingo sweaters. I think some of the Mary's girls, I think they could have the same sweater, that same Ingo sweater, part of their uniform back in the day as well. So where does Ingo go from designing something that the 1968 Olympic athletes loved so much? And how does the business continue to grow in Waterloo? We'll continue our conversation with Jen Huber from the City of Waterloo Museum right after this. It's a Throwback Thursday on the Mike Farwell Show, 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. It is a Throwback Thursday here on the show. First Thursday of the month, and on the first Thursday of every month at 11 a.m., we check in with our friends at the City of Waterloo Museum. A reminder that the museum is open to you. It's always free, Tuesday through Friday from 10 until 4. Jennifer Huber is a program and engagement associate at the City of Waterloo Museum, and we're touching on Waterloo's Olympic past. And I'm thinking back to my high school days. Now, that wasn't quite in 1968, but the Ingo sweater was a part of our uniform at St. Jerome's High School back in the day. And that same designer, Ingo Chappelle, created outfits for our Olympians in 1968. So, Jen, how did producing sweaters for our Olympic athletes propel Ingo Chappelle's business forward in Waterloo?
There, his sweaters became so beloved, they became staples in many households all over the world. So not only was he producing them across Canada, but he was producing them and sending them into many different parts of the world all around us. His sweaters could be found in shops in Toronto, but it also made its way into small shops here in Waterloo and Kitchener. So a couple names I found advertisements for that might bring back some memories is Saunders and Washburn, shops in Kitchener, or maybe Ross Klopp's in Uptown Waterloo. But many of these shops that were selling his sweaters because they were so beloved by many folks within the community. And that really only propelled his business further forward. In the early 70s, he had turned this just him and a single machine he brought when he immigrated over to Canada into 22 staff with 10 different machines. It was quite successful that they even needed to move to Schaefer Street in Waterloo where they could expand their operations even further.
I remember Saunders very well as a kid. My father shopped there for his menswear, and I started doing that too as I got a little bit older. Okay, so beyond what Ingo contributed to fashion and, of course, sporting events, what else did he contribute to our community? And what does that tell us then, Jen, about the versatility of Ingo Chappelle's designs?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I mean, you've kind of hinted on it already. We found it in all of our local high schools. So whether you were at St. Jerome, St. Mary's, Waterloo Collegiate, KCI, Blue Vale, all of those local high schools were wearing Chappelle sweaters because they survived. They were made with that durable material, high quality. So it was something we saw making its way into all of our youths. And then from there, it also served to keep our police department, first when they were city-run police, and then when we got the regional police in the 70s, they had some of his sweaters on. And even the folks at the Seagram's Museum, our current exhibit is on the Seagrams, but taking a throwback to the Seagram's museums in the 80s and into the 90s, their staff were issued as part of their uniform one of Ingo Chappelle's sweaters there. So we can see it kind of making its way all over in different parts of our community. And the sweaters were made locally and produced up until 2008 when imported markets kind of took over and made it quite difficult. But believe it or not, there was a revival. That's how popular they were.
How did I miss the revival, Jen? Tell me about how the revival happened.
Well, it was a very short time from when they stopped making the sweaters and restarted making the sweaters because the Ingo brand was revived in 2010. Now, this time the license had been taken down to Peru, and that's where they were producing them with luxurious alpaca wool from the Andes Mountains in Peru. So they were working with a high quality wool, thermoregulated and comfortable for body temperature. And I was just online earlier this week, and you can still buy an Ingo Chappelle sweater. It comes in 6 different colors if you are so inclined to replace yours. Or you can check our local thrift stores because I've seen many floating through there as well. And they still look pretty darn good after all these years.
I have no doubt that they do. They were a high quality garment. I'm a little bit disappointed, to be honest, to find out that it wasn't unique to us at St. Jerome's, Jen. Like, of course, all the other schools would get behind the Ingo Chappelle brand, right?
When it's a good idea, it's a good idea. Everyone gets it.
Absolutely. Are you going to be binging some Olympic Games this weekend?
I sure will. I cannot wait. I have a 8-year-old nephew who is just learning about the Olympics, and he has invited me to watch all kinds. I think his favorite right now is the skeleton.
Love it.
And he was describing to me the process that they're going to go through to go down the tunnel. So I look forward to seeing what that's going to be like through his eyes.
Your timing could not have been better, as usual, on this. Love these Throwback Thursdays and the rabbit holes that you go down on our behalf, Jen. I had no idea that Ingo Chappelle, of all people, connected to the Olympics, and Waterloo had a role all the way back to 1968.
Yes. Well, thanks for having us back for another trip down memory lane with the City of Waterloo Museum. Folks can still visit us in person or visit us online to get some more local history. But until next time, keep the past alive.
We certainly will do that, and we'll talk to you in a month's time. Thanks very much, Jen. Jennifer Huber joins us, a program and engagement associate with the City of Waterloo Museum. I'll remind you again, Tuesday through Friday, admission is always free, 10 until 4 at the City of Waterloo Museum. And you'll find them, of course, at their location at Conestoga Mall. I did feel like we were kind of unique. We all felt that way, don't we? If we're being honest, us Jerry's boys, we had a bit of an air about us, didn't we? That air of superiority. Did we really have that? I don't know. I remember back when I was in high school, and there was a lot of, there were good old-fashioned rivalries, right? Because high schools had sports teams that played against each other. Do you remember Skip Johns? His name was Bill. He passed not too long ago. Skip's Picks was in, I think we were still calling it the KW record at the time, but the Waterloo Region record, and Skip's Picks would basically give a preview of every high school football game and basketball game and tell you who was favored and, who Skip was picking that particular week. And I followed that stuff religiously to see how our St. Jerome's Lions were stacking up against the Eastwood Rebels or the Grand River Renegades or the Forest Heights Trojans. Are any of those names still existing? Are any of you still allowed to use those names? I don't know if, I think we can still call them the Renegades at Grand River. I know we can't. They're the Eastwood Lions now. Could you imagine Skip doing his picks? Lions versus Lions? Come on. We had the Galt Ghosts and the Preston Panthers. Loved reading that and remember fondly those days and that Ingo sweater. And I bet you dollars to donuts, even though it would not fit, that Ingo sweater would be as wearable and as beautiful as it was when we had them as part of our uniform at St. Jerome's High School back in the mid-1980s, and probably before that too. I was just there in the mid to late 1980s. But there is something to be said for they don't make things the way that they used to make things, do they? All right, we're coming up on that time where I send you to the 570 News Center for an update. And then Thursday morning at 11:30, we take a break from some of the heavier stuff we talk about on the show, and we have a little bit of fun with something called the Flipside. This has kind of been, well, I'm a curious guy by nature. I think it's one of the reasons that I enjoy doing this show so much, because every day I feel like I get to learn something from the guests that come on the show, from you when you tell things to me about what's going on out there or whatever it is. But I love to learn new things, and I'm always curious. And so I mentioned this in passing not too long ago, and a few of you emailed and answered without even me formally asking the question. So I'm going to formally ask it this morning on the flip side. And the question is simply this: what are you doing and where are you when you listen to this show? Because I know you're out there, and you know that I sit here in this studio. I shared a video on our Facebook page this morning. Check it out, facebook.com/The Mike Farwell Show. In case you missed previous videos or photos or whatever, you can see exactly the box. It's a nice box. I love this space, but this is the studio that I sit in when I'm having these conversations with you every day. I have this image in my mind of you driving a courier truck like I know Kyle does, or maybe driving a cab. But what is it? Where are you? What do you do? I'm going to flip it around to you, and you can give me a glimpse into your daily life as you listen to this show. That's coming up on the flip side. Don't be shy. I want to know what you're up to when you're listening to the show. It's the Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. This is about as true a definition of the flip side as I can possibly think of, because I am turning the tables on you today. It is your turn to share, and you usually do. I shouldn't give you a hard time as if you never participate in this show or share anything, even personal stuff. We've had those conversations, haven't we? Those of us in the club, and if you know about that club. But some of our most difficult challenges we have discussed on this show. You've told me, I got an email, and then Marino called the show on Monday to share his experience seeing Bachman and Cummings this past weekend at, where was he, Niagara? I forget. Anyway, one of our local Ontario casinos, but just wanted to share the joy of that experience, which I'm here for. I love learning these things. And I know from being a longtime lover of this medium, radio, that as a listener, you always kind of get into your head, like who that person on the other side of the radio is, what they look like, where they're sitting when they're talking to you, or maybe they're standing. We have all these fancy stand-up. I don't stand up. I sit right here on my fat ass every day and talk to you. But we get this picture in our mind, right? And on this side of the radio, I try to share as much as I can about what it's like over here and give you the best image that I can give you about this side of the microphone. And I post on social media every day. So long gone are the days of a radio announcer that is just a voice to you, right? We're kind of the complete package now, thanks to social media. And this show is also simulcast on Rogers TV Cable 20. So whether you like this face for radio or not, you get it on Channel 20 every single day from 9 until 1. All of this is to say that I think, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, I love it when you do, I think, though, you have a pretty good idea of who and what this is on this side of the radio. But because I'm just a listener like you, I get curious still about the person that I'm talking to. We often will have conversations on the phone together. Other times you might just be a passive listener to the show. And that's fine too. But if you're willing to come out of that shell just for one day, for one Flipside segment, I want to know, I'm really curious. What are you doing? And where are you when you are listening to this show? So I'm in these same four walls in this studio every day from 9 until 1. I do take the opportunity during the commercial breaks and the news updates to run and grab something from the fridge, to go to the little boys' room, whatever the case may be. Sometimes I just go and annoy my coworkers because I know they love it when I annoy them. That's it. That's me. But what about you? Where are you and what are you doing when you're listening to the show every day? Or maybe you keep it on Rogers TV Cable 20. I am very curious about this. So I'm hoping that you're willing to share and I can learn a little bit about what your day is like as you take in this show. Literally turning the tables on you, flipping it over to you on the flip side. 519-570-2545. Star 570 and 1-800-570-5715. Thanks to Wendy's special delivery today, I know exactly what she's been up to, and I am very grateful. My coworker, Justin Kohler, who is a reporter with All News Mornings, popped in here just about half an hour ago and said, somebody just dropped this off for you. It was in a bag with a label that said edible. Well, that got my attention right away. And Wendy attached a note. Hello, Mike. On my way to Stratford yesterday, I stopped at Shakespeare Pies and got you some butter tarts. Knowing your aversion to raisins in them, these are plain. But they do have others, lemon, pecan, coconut, maple syrup, and walnut. So you can let me know for next time. I got the raisin ones. Listen, Wendy, I appreciate the delivery today. And it's okay if you like raisins. Sorry. It's okay if you like failed grapes in your butter tarts. We can still be friends. I never want a raisin butter tart. Plain is my favorite. You done good. Shakespeare Pies, Wendy's email or Wendy's note goes on to say, is my favorite for pies and tarts, and I go there as often as I can. Have a great day and enjoy. Wendy, Farwell's Force number 170. P.S. I put them in the fridge overnight, so they may be a bit chilly. Wendy, I like them even better that way. Sometimes I freeze my butter tarts. Oh, so good. And I love me some Shakespeare Pies. Don't you think I haven't been there before? So Wendy was out driving around and stopped at Shakespeare Pies. Okay, so now in my studio that you have seen, I also have butter tarts. Your turn. What are you doing and where are you when you're listening to the show? We're going to start with Gary, Farwell's Force member number 41. You're on the flip side. Good morning.
Hey, buddy. How are you? Long time no talk.
It has been a while, yeah.
I know. I just, I've been busy, but, you know, I'm always usually right around 9 a.m., catch that, and, you know, I'm in and out of the car doing the shuttling and stuff. Right now, I had to deliver a part down to Aberfoyle, so now I'm heading back to the dealership, and I'll be done at 12, and then go and start my full-time job in the afternoon. But I'm always in the car. I'm always looking to get to call in as often as I can, but I just love the show. Anytime I get, I'm always listening. Even when I finish my afternoon, nighttime transit job, and I get in my truck at around 10 o'clock, 570's on, and, usually hear your voice with the hockey show. So.
I love it, Gary. Well, thank you for that. Sometimes I think there's too much Farwell on this station, but that's a great picture. And I knew Gary was a driver, both professionally with transit and drives parts for an auto dealer in Guelph. So saying that he just did a run to Aberfoyle, now I can picture you. I can picture that spot on Highway 6, or maybe you're on Wellington 34 down that way. But there you go. You get the picture of Gary. And this is, if I'm being honest, this is where I picture most of you, in a vehicle doing your thing. Mark, good morning. You're on the flip side.
Good morning, Mike. I'll tell you what I do in the summertime.
Okay.
The wintertime's kind of boring. I have your radio on in the winter while I'm doing my morning stuff.
What's your morning stuff? What is
a background thing, right?
Okay, what's your morning stuff? What does that mean? What are you doing?
After my shower, breakfast.
Yeah. Okay.
Stuff like that.
Sure.
So summertime, Mike.
Yeah.
I get up about 8:30 in the morning. I know that's late for you.
You lucky
and I've
devil.
got a big porch with very comfortable chairs.
Okay.
Front yard. I bring out my radio, I turn you on, and I sit on my front porch, and I listen to you all day long.
That's fantastic. I love that idea. Now, what part of town are you in? You're over
I'm
by
in Bryda Park.
I was going to
Mike.
say Bright Up. That's what I thought. Okay. So
Yes.
in the summertime, enjoying the outdoors on your front porch in your comfortable chair, listening to the show as the world passes you by.
With your radio on, with my radio on, exactly.
Fantastic. I love it, Mark.
I've
Thank
actually
you.
had a couple people walking a lot of the dogs around here, Mike,
Yep.
and they said, "Mark, turn your radio down."
Mark, don't ever do that.
No, I can't. My hearing's not that good.
All right, buddy. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay, pal. Hey, turn it up even louder. Share it with more neighbors, Mark. I like that. Just chilling on the front porch in the summertime. Summer is going to come back sometime, isn't it? We sure hope so. Scott, good morning.
Good morning, Mike. How are you?
Hey, I'm great, thanks. How are you?
Oh, I'm just having a wonderful day sitting in traffic here on Highway 8.
You see, I actually count on traffic congestion to keep listeners engaged, Scott. What the hell else are you going to do? I've got a captive audience now.
Well, you sure do, because I'll tell you, Mike, there's a lot of us in line here going up the hill.
Up the hill. Sean's Hell?
No, just on the expressway on Highway 8, just going up almost over Grand River Bridge.
I gotcha. Okay, I know exactly the spot now. You coming back into town? Or you heading
Yes,
out?
sir,
Yeah,
I am.
back into town. I gotcha. I know where you're at. You stay safe out there.
Yeah, no, I drive for a dealership doing valet and listen to you all the time when I'm driving, so love your show.
Scott, I appreciate that. And if you wouldn't mind, if I could impose on you for a favor, you don't have to do it, but I would love it if every shuttle vehicle you got into for that dealership, you made the number one preset 570 News Radio, pal.
Don't tell anybody, but I've done that in most of our vehicles already.
I won't tell if you won't, Scott. You're a good man.
Well, I try to be, Mike. As are you.
Thanks for the call. Really appreciate it.
Okay, have a great day. Cheers.
You too, and stay safe out there. Highway 8, heading over the Grand River Bridge, coming up that hill towards the Fairway exit, right? We got you. We got you. Stay safe out there in the traffic. Sean, you're next on the flip side. Where are you and what are you doing when you listen to the show?
Well, I have a hybrid job. I work sometimes at home and I have to go into the office once in a while. I work in IT, so I'm in front of a computer keyboard all day. I'm surrounded by so many monitors here. I look like I'm in an old-fashioned organ loft. I've got a database up here. I've got a program window here. I've got a Teams here. I've got Outlook there. I've got service tickets up over here. And I'm listening to you on Google Streamer. So if the internet goes down, I'm done. Every morning I get up at about 5:30. So when I go for a morning walk before work, I live in downtown Galt, so I sort of walk down around the downtown core, and then I come in and I get on my computer. I'm at that for like about 8 hours.
Wow, look at you. And that's a beautiful area to take a walk in the Galt area of Cambridge. Gorgeous down there.
Then I carry my camera with me every single day, and I take lots of photographs and post them online.
Ah, really cool. I like that. Where can I see them?
I'm on Facebook under my name.
Oh, well, drop me a friend request. I'd love to see some of your pictures, like Queen Square. Anything else you get down there in Galt?
Oh, yeah. I do the main street.
Yeah.
In the summer, I do lots of the birds. I do the churches. And the other day, I did where all the trees had all the rime on them, from the fog coming up from the river and stuff like that.
Absolutely, yeah. Good stuff.
Yep. All day on the computer.
When you have to go into the office, do you listen there too?
That's more difficult because we go into the office to collaborate, so we're always talking and stuff.
Okay, I get it. We can't have interruptions. I understand.
Yeah.
All right, Sean, thanks for the call. Good to hear from you.
Okay, you too. Bye.
All right. I get that sense quite a bit too, ever since this pandemic thing a few years ago, right? Listening at home while you're at work. Just kind of some background for you. And hopefully it doesn't get your blood boiling too much and you get angry at your coworkers over a Teams chat. Preston Paul, Farwell's Force, member number 45.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm right now out in the garage having a smoke of the bad kind. I just finished a smoke of the good kind.
Does that help you listen to the show, Paul? Do you need that to get in the right mood for this show?
Well, I don't need it to listen to you, Mike, but it definitely makes it a little better, let's say.
All right. Now, you mentioned the other day that you go out to the garage in the wintertime, and then in the summer, are you a little bit like Mark, who called before, and you're in the great outdoors enjoying the show?
Absolutely. I'm on the deck. The radio's on, and I'm just loving it. I'm telling you, can't wait.
Fantastic. Now, I remember when you first found us, Paul, you came over from that radio station in Cambridge that was playing music, and they made a change that you didn't like, and then you found your way to us.
Yeah, and it's almost a year, Mike. 13th of this month, a week tomorrow.
Love
your show.
Love having you along, buddy. Thank you for that.
I can't believe it's been a year. It seems like I've been listening for 10 years. So I've learned so much, though, of the region and just life overall, and all the callers that come through. I just love it. I'm addicted to it, to be honest.
Well, listen, it's better being addicted to this than being addicted to those smokes of the bad kind, Paul.
Yes, I know. I've been for so long, Mike. My system would probably shut down if they didn't get the nicotine and tar that they've been getting for the last 45 years.
I understand. Well, you hang in there, and thanks for being a part of the show.
No problem, Mike. Thank you.
All right, great to hear from you. We'll take more calls. I'm turning the tables on you on the flip side today. I feel like you've got all of the information about what it's like on this side of the radio or TV. I want to know what you're up to. Where are you? What are you doing as you listen to the show? It's the Mike Farwell Show, don't you know? This is the Flip Side on 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. Oh, I am just finishing that butter tart from Shakespeare Pies that Wendy dropped off. My goodness gracious. That is a butter tart. Good. I am flipping things, like I'm turning the tables right over to you today, wondering where the heck you are and what the heck you're doing while you take in the show every day. You know where I am and what it looks like here. Paint the picture for me on the other side. Yvonne, good morning. You're on the flip side.
Hi, Mike. It's Yvonne.
Oh, Yvonne. I had a different spelling on my screen. Good morning.
That's okay. No problem. Good morning. Yep. So out doing errands and medical appointments. You know the drill. Nice to put a female voice in there. Lots of guys calling in this morning.
It is. That usually is on talk radio.
Yeah, I know. What are all those guys doing, and where are the women in their lives?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, no, it's a good day. You're making me jealous with the butter tart. Now I feel like I want to drive to Shakespeare to pick up.
You can, or I always recommend Just Love Pie. It's a lot closer.
Oh, I love Just Love Pie.
Me too.
Savory. Anyways, stay safe, Mike. It's good to, I enjoy listening to you whether I'm in the car or I'm at home doing some quilting or household chores. It's always fun to listen to you.
Great
so have
stuff.
a good day.
Thanks, Yvonne. You too. Stay safe running all those errands. I think about that a lot too, right? You get in the car, it's still the main place that people listen to the radio, in their cars, right? Don't take the AM radio out of cars, you car makers, you. Rob, good morning.
Morning, Mike. How are you?
Great, thanks. How are you?
I'm all right.
Good.
I listen to you on a daily basis, sir. I, like you, I try to learn things new every day. And, I'm at home either trying to learn my keyboard. I practice keyboard every day.
Nice.
Or I'm at work between jobs, right? So I enjoy listening to you. I call quite often. I go by Romeo also sometimes on here. And I also was wondering if I could be a part of the Farwell's Force.
Are you kidding me? Absolutely, you can be a part of Farwell's Force.
You, sir.
Do you listen for 15 minutes every day, Rob?
Mostly, yes.
Mostly, yes. Okay. Next in line is number 306. How do you feel about that?
Sounds good, sir.
Okay, I'm going to put you down as Rob/Romeo, and you are Farwell's Force member number 306.
Nice, sir. Thank you, and you have a good day.
Thanks, Rob. You too. Great to hear from you. Farwell's Force is a force for good, a force for change, a force to be reckoned with, and we have another member of that force, number 37. Mike in Point Clark. Good morning.
In the summer, my routine is like this. I get up about 6 a.m. in the morning. I go to the Amberley Store Coffee Club, take the dog for a walk, and then I make my breakfast. And then when 9 o'clock rolls around, I start listening to you, sir. And sometimes in the fall and the spring, I go to Zion Beach, Kincardine, Station Beach, Boiler Beach with my little hound, and we listen to you on my headphones on the radio, calling in from there. The wintertime, it's mostly the car, Mike. I like I like the fact that you focus on community issues that are relevant to people. There's not very many local news outlets that do that anymore, and I'm glad that you allow people to have an opportunity to have their say.
So are you able to get 570 AM up there driving around in Bruce County? Does the signal come in?
Yes, it does.
I'll be darned.
On my Mitsubishi Outlander, it comes in clear. On the Jeep, it comes in a little scratchy, but yes, I can get it in. Sometimes I listen to you on my iPhone on the app, but sometimes I find that there's like a significant delay if I do that. There's like 20-minute delay. But I'm right now, I'm talking to you, and I can hear you as clear as day, and I'm just near Concession 12, near the Ainsdale Golf Course, which is just outside of Kincardine. I can hear you just fine. I can hear you all the way up to Port Elgin, sir.
Good stuff. Mike, appreciate it. Thank you. Enjoy your day. Kincardine, Port Elgin, I know well. I don't know the Ainslie Golf Course. Forgive me on that one. Paisley, I know up that way. We used to cottage up in Port Elgin. My beloved and I still try to get up to the shores of Lake Huron at least once every summer. And Mike, I know his mom still lives here in the region, so he's a little bit of an expat, if you will. And Chris posted on our Facebook page today, facebook.com/The Mike Farwell Show. I continue to be a fan of your work, found you living in Cambridge, and continue to listen up in Barrie now. I get the occasional email from Chris, and I love that. You were here, now you're somewhere else, but you still keep in touch with what's going on in this community by checking in with this show. It's fantastic stuff. I got to take a break for a news update, and then phone lines remain open for the Talkback Hour. So Linda and Greg, if you want to hang on, I'd still love to know where you're at and what you're doing, and we'll take more calls with Talkback coming up on the Mike Farwell Show. 570 News Radio and Rogers TV.
Take out the papers and the trash, or you don't get no spending cash. If you don't scrub that kitchen floor, you ain't gonna rock and roll no more. Yakety yak.
Don't talk back.
Just finish cleaning up your room. Let's see that dust fly with that broom. Get all that garbage out of sight, or you don't go out Friday night. Yakety yak.
Don't talk back.
Every day from noon until 1, we open the phone lines and give you the chance to talk back. It's open conversation that you get to start, whatever it is that's on your mind. Please do feel free to raise it for the rest of the class to discuss. Connie sends me an email to Mike at 570news.com. Says, I'm at work listening. Have you heard that one of the new flavors from Chapman ice cream is butter tart? Connie, the better question would be, how many cartons of butter tart ice cream from Chapman's have you already eaten, Farwell? And the answer is too many to count. But thank you for listening from work, Connie. I wonder about that, too. In this day and age of smart speakers and earbuds and all of these different things, do you just get to tune in while you're at work without annoying your coworkers with this annoying guy on the radio? I'm very curious where it is you are and what it is you're doing while you listen to the show every day. Linda, good afternoon.
Hi, Mike. I'm stuck in traffic on Highway 8 heading from the 401 to Kitchener. It's taken me 20 minutes to get from the bridge that goes over Old King Street to the bridge that goes over the Grand River, which is like 200 yards, if that. It's all 4 lanes of traffic are totally blocked. I had an appointment at noon in Bridgeport that I'm going to be very late for, obviously.
Oh dear! Don't drive like a jackwagon, Linda. You just follow those speed limits, okay?
Well, no, we're doing 2 kilometers an hour.
Well, no, I know, but when you get off the highway and start making your way to Bridgeport, I get you. That's a tough spot to be in.
Yeah. So anyway, I listen to you in the car. I regularly. I'm twice a week. I drive to Glen Morris for a yoga class.
Oh wow!
And then listen to you all the way there, and then listen to you all the way back. Well, actually, after yoga, I drive to either Pinehurst Conservation Area or Laurel Creek Conservation Area and go snowshoeing. So I listen to you on the way there, and then on the way home when I'm done snowshoeing. But then on Wednesdays, I'm driving to the Victoria Bowl bowling alley for my league play and listening to you. And Fridays and Sundays, I'm in the car driving to Laurel Creek Conservation Area to go cross-country skiing.
You got no grass growing under your feet, do you?
No. So I'm in the car quite a bit, and generally listening to 570.
Well, thank you very much for that. You stay safe out there, and remember, follow the speed limit when you get out of the traffic jam, okay?
Well, there's a bad accident apparently at Weber and Fairway.
There you go. Okay, Linda, thank you very much. Have a great day. I love that. And that's the second person. Scott called earlier, stuck in that same mess of traffic. I hate to say it, but thank you, traffic jams. You give me a captive audience, right? Where are you going to go? And don't you dare think of changing the station. We're the most entertaining, aren't we? We're definitely the most interactive. Greg, good afternoon.
38, Greg, so you probably know most about me already. There's not much to surprise you with.
No, so where are you? What you're driving, right? And you're out in the boonies somewhere.
Yeah, basically. Well, I deliver the daytime, Monday to Friday for the shoppers in Elmira.
Yep.
And then my territory is all over the country because they do the in-town ones at night that actually have lights to see addresses because you wouldn't see a thing in the country, so that's why that's in the day.
Good point.
So Wallenstein, Linwood, Heidelberg, St. Clements, Floridale, Drayton, that's about the radius of it. And, so basically delivering either people's medications or they can get some store supplies too. And so it starts at the minimum I can get in the truck is 11:30. I have to be in the store until then, getting everything ready, whether it's ready to leave or not. That's just the cutoff time for deliveries, and so I have no option to listen to you in the morning. So all your good guests, well, can't do anything about that. But then that's why all my song requests, I say, okay, afternoon, please, afternoon. Otherwise, I'd miss it for sure. But no, actually, when I get to this part of the job, it's really fulfilling because most of the people I go to are either seniors or the Mennonite farms, with young kids, and then seniors there too that can't get in to get their medication, and it's I don't know, they almost just after delivering, I just feel good. They show appreciation. It's almost like family, like as though I'm doing this for my parents or siblings or whatever, and so it's not rocket science, but that part of it's pretty satisfying at the end. I like doing things for others and get more out of it, and so this is a job that falls in line with it.
I love to hear it. Does the signal come in clearly to Drayton?
Yeah, and then, I'm on the cell phone in the truck, so there's going to be dead spots, up and down hills and stuff. But actually, by the time I get to Drayton, to tell you the truth, your show's done because I do anything local first.
Gotcha.
And then head up there, and I'm rarely there, before even 1:30. So, but I have listened to Rob Snow at times, too, and called in, and signal fine then. So
good. Well, Greg, stay safe out there on the roads, and thanks for calling today.
Oh, yeah. By the way, no traffic out here, so that's another beauty thing.
Watch out for the horse and buggy. Watch out for the horse and buggy. I love that. And Greg mentioned he always asks for his requests after the noon hour. Fridays, if you didn't know, we do all Request Friday on the show where you can pick the music that we play after the commercial breaks. And this Friday, in keeping with the beginning of Black History Month, which we are now into, the month of February, your favorite Black artists, your requests for all Request Friday. Peter is with us on Talkback. Good afternoon, Peter.
Good afternoon.
Where are you? What are you doing when you listen to the show?
I'm in Cambridge.
Okay.
I'm sitting here having my coffee, reading my favorite magazine. It's a Fly Past, a British magazine. It's all about aircraft. I like reading about the Spitfires, Hurricanes, P-51s.
Nice. I like that.
And one of my favorite memories is flying from Trenton to Vancouver in Dakota. You know what a Dakota is?
I'm sorry. I'm not very good with my planes,
anyway,
Peter. I'm sorry.
Two-engine, probably built in 1948 or something like that. But flying in there, we're going to the PNE in Vancouver.
Yep.
And when I looked out the window, there was a squadron of vampires, which was our fighter aircraft back in the day, and that's about it. And like I said, I sit here, listen to you every day, drinking my coffee, and reading my magazine or doing whatever.
It sounds like a great way to spend a day, Peter. I'm kind of jealous.
Well, you should be. Oh, did I give you my number? Forget. Did I?
Are you a Farwell's Force member?
Yes.
Please do remind me the number, sir.
421.
421. I see it. And that's because it's your MOC.
Yes.
There you go. See? Now, I'm curious, that Kodiak you took from Trenton to...
No, Dakota.
Dakota, pardon me.
Yes.
The Dakota from Trenton. See, I told you I didn't know much about planes. Dakota from Trenton to Vancouver. Were you the pilot?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
I wish. My friend of mine, we're in the military together as 16-year-olds, and he went on to be a pilot. He flew the Tudors, which are Tudors are the acrobatic team that we have in Canada.
Right.
Those are Tudors. And then he flew them, and then he became a dentist.
What?
Until he retired.
Really? From flying a Tudor to being a dentist?
Yeah.
All right.
And he flew a lot of different aircraft, like I can't remember now. Yeah, but he's flown about 5 different aircraft. And I'm going out to see him in Calgary in about 4 days.
Very good. Well, apparently it's like summer out in Calgary. They've got a Chinook that's lasted all month.
That's exactly what he said. He'd gone to Toronto to see his son. And then when he got back to Calgary, he said, "Oh, yeah, it's almost like summertime here."
I love it. I love it. Well, Peter, it's great to hear from you. Remind us again, MOC is?
Military Occupation Code.
Military Occupation Code. 421, Farwell's Force member, and Peter's Military Occupation Code. Safe travels out west. Thanks for being with us on the show.
And thank you for all you do.
An absolute pleasure. I honestly could not imagine doing any other thing ever. Anywhere else either. I'll tell you that too. Jonathan, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mike. 310 here.
3-time here?
310.
310.
Farwell's Force member.
Jonathan, that's my fault. I'm even wearing headphones and I misheard you. Farwell's Force member number 310, Jonathan K. Right there, buddy.
Yep. I'm at home at my desktop as usual.
You send emails to me during hockey games.
Yep.
And we met.
Only when they're not televised. Otherwise, I watch the games on TV.
You know what you should do, though, Jonathan, is you should turn down the volume on the TV and keep the radio on, you see? And then you can listen to me and Josh Piercy. I'm just giving you a hint. Just a hint.
Also, on something you talked about yesterday, the Weird Sisters. They're also known for being a Harry Potter band. We see them in Goblets of Fire during the Yule Ball.
Oh, my gosh. Jonathan, you are a font of interesting information. I love that. I had another message from a buddy yesterday who just said he loves Discworld, which is the world where the Weird Sisters are based, I suppose. I didn't know anything about it. I had to check the pronunciation of Weird Sisters because it is spelled weirdly, W-Y-R-D. But it is the inaugural show of the new season for the Cambridge Community Players at the little theater there on Water Street South in Galt. Beautiful theater, wonderful production company, and they are debuting their first show of the season. Curtain rises tomorrow night on the Weird Sisters, and apparently a lot of people knew more than I did about this production and the story behind it. I am just loving my life on Rogers TV Cable 20 right now because the automated camera, see, this is why I'm never going to get into one of those autonomous taxi cabs because I don't know what the hell it's going to do when I get in there. This camera, which is robotic, is just spinning around the room. So if you're watching on Rogers TV Cable 20, there goes my coat in the corner. It's going to come. I wonder how far it'll go. This is must-see TV on Rogers right now because it's going to do I don't think this thing can turn 360, but the camera sure as hell ain't pointing at me right now. It's just spinning around the studio as I take a quick commercial timeout. Kyle, Andre, stay with us. Your calls are next, and there's a line for you, too, on the Talkback Hour here on the Mike Farwell Show. 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. The Talkback Hour every day is reserved for you specifically and exclusively to share your thoughts on the day's events. We've had a few. Right? The announcement from the federal Liberal government that there is going to be a new subsidy rebate on electric vehicle purchases. I'm not so sure I'm okay with that, but hey, it's not my money anymore. I already paid it in my taxes. Now the government's going to give that to you to buy an electric car. We also have that incredible news out of the GTA. York Regional Police leading the media conference today, but a drug trafficking ring broken up and car theft ring, and 7 members of the Toronto Police Service stand accused in the case. And that just shakes the very foundations of what we expect from policing, doesn't it? 2 big things going on in the news, and we're having some fun getting to know one another better today, because I've always felt like you know lots about where I'm at and what I do during this day. I mean, I sit here and talk, but I've always wondered, like, what's it like for you? Where's your day taking you? Where are you? What do you do when you're listening to the show? So we've been sharing those stories as well. Back to the phones. Kyle is with us. Hey, Kyle.
Well, what I usually do is I wake up at 5:30 in the morning. I have a coffee, eat a butter tart, and then I usually hit the road around, between 7:30, make my way to the studio. I stop at Tim Hortons, usually tell my producer, Jen or Devin, good morning, get the show notes for today, start at 9 o'clock, do my morning routine, do the throwback and Gary Chalk. And then, at 12 o'clock, we open up the phone lines for everybody. Everybody calls in. And then sometimes, if it's a hockey night, I got to swing back to either the arena, or I got to get ready to go to the arena or catch the bus to catch a hockey game and do the play-by-play with Piercy there. And then, that's usually what my day is like there, Mike.
Uh-huh. You're a funny guy, Kyle.
How was that? Pretty good?
Yeah, not bad.
All right.
Not bad.
I just thought I'd try that. Thanks, Mike. Have a good one.
Thanks, Kyle. Appreciate it. I know Kyle's out there driving the courier drives that he drives every day. So I know you too, pal. And by the way, I saw your pictures on Instagram the other day. You're such a sap. Oh, look at the beautiful pictures out in the winter wonderland with my beautiful girlfriend. I'm teasing because I think it's awesome. Celebrate it, buddy. Celebrate it. I was waiting to see a big fat diamond ring at the end, but I didn't see that. No, sir. You can call me with that update when it happens. Andre, you're on Talkback. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mike. First thing I got to say is the game last night, Mike, Kitchener Rangers. I was very happy that the Juicy Book guy, GP.
What? The Juicy Book guy, Jay? What are you saying?
I know. That's what you said. You made me laugh.
What did I say?
You said the Juicy Book. Playbook. Juicy Playbook.
Piercy's Playbook.
Juicy. I don't remember. Juicy.
There's no Juicy. I didn't say Juicy one time on the air last night. No, I did not.
You did.
Okay. Okay.
Juicy Playbook.
All right.
Juicy's Playbook.
No, Andre, it's Piercy's Playbook. You got to clean the wax out of your ears, buddy.
God damn it. I drank some red wine last night instead of white. It probably was too thick.
Andre, it's a family show. Can you please just mind your P's and Q's and don't use bad language?
I don't want to.
Well, you just did.
Okay, I'm sorry. My mic is at school.
Okay.
Sorry.
Last chance. I got other callers waiting. Here's your last point for today, Andre. Come on now.
I wanted to say that.
Juicy Playbook. I drank wine. If you drink wine, you should still be able to hear, you knucklehead.
Yeah. So my guy Tamerlam.
Okay, Andre. How many Let's play a game. For the rest of the half hour, when you call in, I want the first thing to come out of your mouth, a number, and that's the number of glasses of wine you think Andre has already consumed today. Okay, this is for real. We're gonna play this until 1 o'clock. You call, you can still have your say on Talkback, but the first thing out of your mouth is a number. How many glasses of wine has Andre already drank today? Terry, don't let me down. How many glasses, and then you can make your point.
Well, shouldn't the question be how many cases of wine has Andre?
Well played. You didn't let me down. That was something from Andre. Afternoon, Terry.
Yeah, he never lets you down.
No, he doesn't.
Hey, Mike, a few things here. You were mentioning about the Rangers broadcast on TV and radio.
Yeah.
Listen, but they don't match up. There's about a 30-second delay from the radio to the television broadcast.
So I did this on the weekend, and I was disappointed because I like to listen to my buddy Jerry Liscombe Jr. up in Sault Ste. Marie. So I brought up his radio call while I had the game on Rogers TV, and I muted the game. They were off by about 10 seconds, but the TV was ahead. In good days, the TV is behind, and then you can just no. The TV is
behind.
Right. When the TV is ahead, you can pause the TV, and then when the radio catches up to it, then you have it in sync. But
it's a lot of work, though.
Listen, it depends on what version of the game you like to listen to. That's all.
For sure, yeah. If you're in the car, you have no choice but to listen to the radio. But that Shakespeare pies.
Oh yeah, buddy.
Last September. I was out on a motorbike ride, and I stopped at the ice cream place next door.
I've done that too. Yep.
Moose, I believe the place, and there was a couple there. They came all the way from London. So I asked them, did you guys come up here just for this ice cream? And they go, no, we came to Shakespeare's pies. So I've seen it before driving by, but I've never been in there. So I went over after I was done at the ice cream place. I grabbed six butter tarts, none with raisin, by the way. And so I took it home, but I ate them sparingly. So I freezed what I wasn't eating, and then about 2 months. Like the last one was about 2 months after it went into the freezer, and it was still good.
Of course it was. Buddy, absolutely freeze that stuff, and it tastes so good. Yeah, I love it.
Absolutely. And Mike, just quick, I know you've been, criticizing Aaron Rodgers about the.
Terry.
Do you know him personally?
No. Do I have to?
Well, no. The only reason the sports media doesn't like him because he doesn't kiss their asses. Now,
okay, Terry, listen, I got to get to news in like 15 seconds.
Okay, and one quick thing. And you praise Wayne Gretzky, right?
Greatest hockey player ever.
Now, do you know he was born in Canada, and now he's hanging out with Uncle Donald. He's buddies with Uncle Donald, and the man, like, he stabbed his own country in the back. Now, don't you think that's despicable?
All right, time's up. That was 18 seconds. I don't equate the two, and the reason I don't like Aaron Rodgers is because every time something goes wrong on the field, he blames his teammates. That's not a good team player. That's what I don't like about him. But anyway, I've heard the arguments about Wayne before. I'm not going there. Wayne Gretzky, greatest hockey player to ever live. I don't ask him to be an ambassador or a politician. Talkback continues on the Mike Farwell Show, 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. It is your daily opportunity to have your say on the issues and events of the day. Or in today's case, maybe let me in on where you are and what you do when you listen to this show every day, because I am a curious kind of cat. I really am. Back to the phones. Mary Ann is with us. Farwell's Force member number 304. We just added you on the weekend, didn't we, Mary Ann?
Yes, you did.
Well, good afternoon. Thank you for calling in.
Oh, well, excuse me. I'm just getting over pneumonia. Anyway, I've listened to your show over 570 for so long that my children and grandchildren recite things. Remember the old mattress Sleep Country song that played before the hockey game?
Sleep Country, Canada. Why buy a mattress anywhere else? Yes, I do.
Oh, yes. I had grandchildren and my daycare kids singing that. Anyway, I just want to say how remarkable the things you do. And I ran a daycare for 34 years, and now I work with seniors, and I'm a little late to have to pick up one and take them places. And I love what I do, and I love listening to your show.
Well, Mary Ann, I thank you so much for that, and thank you for what you're doing from the kiddies to the seniors. And I forgot to ask right away, how many glasses of wine do you think Andre has already had today, Mary Ann?
Well, I think he keeps a box, and
of course,
puts the spout into his mouth and presses.
Mary Ann, it's great to hear your voice. Thanks for calling, and a speedy recovery. Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Get over that pneumonia. And don't worry, we're only having fun with Andre. He can take it. I promise he can take it. Chris is next on Talkback. First things first, Chris, how many glasses of wine deep is Andre already today?
I'm going to say 2, but not glasses.
You never disappoint. Farwell's Force is on fire today. Okay, Chris.
Okay, 264 over here, sir.
Number 264, Farwell's Force official member.
Absolutely. That was my bucket list. First time calling this year, so you made it for me.
I love it.
The one thing I want to say is I have you on my morning radio. I have a radio in my kitchen, and you're on when I'm up drinking my coffee in the morning. And one little note there, it's in my truck. I'm up moose hunting up in Timmins area, and I actually picked you guys up on the 101 highway heading into Timmins.
Get out of town.
Yeah. Every once, that's what you got to love about AM radio.
I agree.
You know when the storms are coming in because of the static.
Yep.
But it's always entertaining.
Fantastic. Well, I love to hear it, Chris. Thank you for that.
Okay, not a problem. You do a great job, buddy.
Thank you, sir.
Listen to you every day.
I look forward to having you listen every day like a good Farwell's Force member. And you know, Chris just made me realize. So let me tell you a quick story about a fella who works up in the Sioux, who I've gotten to know over the years through my work with the Kitchener Rangers. His name's Warren, but he goes by Spanky. Why any man of his age still goes by the nickname Spanky, I haven't the foggiest, but he is a stone-cold beauty. Let me tell you, if you picture in your mind what somebody in his early to mid-60s named Spanky looks like, you got Spanky. And he insisted to me years ago that he used to sit around his camp, that's what they call cottages up north, and listen to Don Cameron call Kitchener Rangers games on the radio. And I said, Spank, come on with your coming on. Like, don't try to tell me that you are up here in the Sioux listening to 570 AM to hear Don Cameron call a game. And he insisted it was true. I figured Spanky was just being Spanky and he was into the wacky tobacco or maybe the wine like Andre already is today. And he was mistaken. But not the case. Apparently, according to Chris, hear it on Highway 101 on his way into Timmins. I love it. I love it. Ron, another Farwell's Force member, number 32. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm going to say 32 glasses of wine.
32 glasses of wine for Andre. 32 glasses of wine. I love it. Good guess. You might be a little low, but good guess anyway.
Okay, well, you wanted to know what I do for work?
I want to know what you're doing. What are you doing? Where are you when you're listening?
Well, I can tell you I'm inside the offices of where I work at CNC Labs, and I run their 3D print farm.
At CNC Labs?
Yeah.
I know
CNC Labs. Yeah.
Where'd you go? I lost that for a second.
Sorry. Yeah, it cut out on me, too. No, I said I work for CNC Labs.
CNC Labs.
That's correct.
Yes, I know the place. Okay.
Okay. So, yeah, and I run their print farm division. So, as I'm listening, I'm usually either A, inspecting parts, making sure they're printing out properly, or B, I am fixing whatever printer has failed or just maintenance that's required.
I love it.
Well, and got you on my headphones throughout the whole morning.
Fantastic, Ron. Really appreciate it. Thank you for doing that. And I'm glad you put it on the headphones so that your coworkers, in case they're not that interested, don't have to listen. Although, much like I told Scott earlier, who drives shuttle for a local car dealership, and I asked him bluntly and shamelessly to preset every radio in every one of those shuttle vehicles to 570, make the number one preset 570 AM. And he said he already did most of that. Listen, if you listen at work and you feel so inclined, take out the headphones. Like, let the office hear what we get into and what we get up to on this show every day. Like, just imagine the conversations that would result. He said, what? Andre drank how much before he called the show? These are the things that make your workday go by a little quicker. Preston Paul is back with us. Good afternoon, Paul.
Good afternoon. 3.5 beer steins.
You know, you remind me when I got my very first of my own 1 liter beer stein. When I went to Munich for the first time, I enjoyed many a 1 liter beer. I will not tell a lie. And I have one now at home. And sometimes I will, tongue in cheek, post a picture on social media saying, I'm only having 1 beer tonight, but it's my 1 liter stein of beer. So 3.5 steins, 1 liter or otherwise, Andre has had of wine so far today.
Don't quit your day job either on your singing there, Mike.
Oh, I'm not supposed to. I didn't do a very good job with that jingle. You're right. That's fair. Fair comment.
That's an earworm for sure. I watched that news conference this morning with the York Regional Police, and I think they did a great job laying out what happened and what's going on. And then it looks like this is going to go right to international with the drug smuggling going into Europe. So I just want to commend the police chiefs from Toronto, York, and the deputy chief that were there and explaining things. And it's pretty shocking to hear that, that's for sure.
Isn't it something when police officers themselves stand accused?
Yeah, and then tied to the towing industry, we're hearing all those fires and shootings at places like that. So,
yeah,
I'm glad they got to the bottom of it, and I hope these guys dearly pay. And the chief said he's going to try and get 4 of them for sure are not going to be paid while they're on leave. And so I just hope they throw the book at them to show an example of what can happen.
Paul, appreciate the call. Good to hear from you.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, enjoy the rest of your day. You know, just on that note, I mentioned it earlier. I mean, this just, it shakes the foundations, doesn't it, of what we have come to expect, what we have come to understand. And I know these are not the first police officers charged. And what are we going to do? We're going to have the few bad apples conversation. I think that would be appropriate in this case. But all I can think about is, I mean, I make the comparison to athletes who get involved in gambling scandals. And I'm like, how and why, when athletes are so richly rewarded for what they do, could they possibly get involved in gambling scandals because they needed more? And I know there's more to this, right? There's the addiction, the adrenaline rush that comes with placing the wager, winning the wager. Those things can be very addictive. But to me, it's very similar to a situation like this, whereby I know we're not talking about police officers being paid anywhere near what athletes are paid, but I think we all understand that working for a police service is a pretty darn good living, right? The wage is relatively comfortable, if not high, compared to average Joes and Janes. The pension and benefits are excellent, again, especially compared to average Joes and Janes. So where would the motivation be when you are making that comfortable a living? And trust me, I know that you work for it. It is an incredibly difficult job. But where would the motivation be to engage in such behavior? I know at this point these officers only stand accused, but goodness gracious, I can't wrap my head around it. All I keep coming back to is the famous Gordon Gekko quote, Michael Douglas's character from Wall Street. Greed, for lack of a better word, is good. So I guess the really comfortable, if not high salary, and the excellent benefits and pension plan are not enough. What are you pursuing? The next big thing, more of the things? I find it really difficult to wrap my head around. And of course, you are, again, we can have the few bad apples argument if you want to, but you are tarnishing the badge. Pure and simple. You are tarnishing the badge and the reputation of all police officers everywhere. And that's a damn shame. It's Talkback on the Mike Farwell Show, 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. Oh, the Talkback is best when you do that. Talk back. Right back to the phones we go. Brian is with us. Good afternoon, Brian.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. And you?
I'm doing all right, actually. Yeah, not bad.
Good. So, what's up?
I just wanted to call in. I'm dealing with a situation with the city. They've been more than helpful so far. The man I've been dealing with, his name is Jeremy Dewick. He's been very empathetic about what we're trying to do. There's a comedian who will be playing at the Conrad Center.
Oh, yeah. Brian, save your breath. Save your breath. Okay. I'm not interested in hearing from you.
Why is that?
Because I'm not interested. So just save your breath, okay?
That's interesting.
Okay, good. I'm not interested. I'm not interested at all. But again, thanks for the call. Just saving you some breath on that one. Tom is next on Talkback Afternoon, Tom.
Hey, how are you, Mr. Mike?
Mr. Tom, I'm just fine. Thank you very much.
Okay, I wish more of these MPs, whether they're liberal or conservatives, would take an action and go and make deals either with Trump or the Russians for the peace. Like this guy Giovanni, he just went to and he talked. I guess he talked to the people in Washington.
Yeah.
And Trump told him that he likes Canadians. And I think if these people, because the guys at the top aren't doing anything, okay? So I wish a lot of these other people, other MPs, would do the same, because we can get a different point of view. Like right now, why didn't anybody from Canada just go over to Russia and try to make peace instead of you gave $2.5 billion to Ukraine, and it goes to the guys at the top.
Do you think, though, Tom? Do you think though? Like, what do we got? 343 MPs federally, right? Do you think we should use a Team Canada approach, or should each of these 343 members of Parliament just do their own thing?
If two, yeah, they should.
They should just do their own thing. Yeah, okay.
Aren't doing anything, so
yeah.
It didn't. It made sense. And Giovanni, he got an answer. At least somebody talked to them, because every time these guys talk, they talk to the. They're not talking to anybody important. So
okay.
I hope because anything is worth doing.
Well, listen. Okay, so there's some background here, and I hear where you're coming from, and there's a part of me that absolutely leans Tom's way. I used to think, I mean, I don't think anymore, but I used to think, and when I used to think, what I was going to finish that sentence with was, I used to think about what I would do if I were ever elected to office. Because in fairness, I have been approached so many times over my life. I think 4 is the actual number. Maybe 3 or 4. And it doesn't matter, but it got me thinking about it, and would I ever do it? And I've told you before, and I'll tell you again, the answer is a hard no. Every day, all day, I'm not interested anymore. But at different times in my life, I used to think about it, and I thought along Tom's lines, like, party line? I ain't towing your ding-dang party line. I'm going to do it Farwell's way, because, you know, I ran on a certain promise to the people that voted for me, and this is how I'm going to conduct myself. In situations like this, however, I think it would be important to find yourself or associate yourself with more of a team, right? And I don't want to go too far down the Team Canada path, the Team Canada approach, because then we're going to get into all the elbows up and the nonsense that we don't really, we get a little bit frustrated by. I will say, though, that I would work my tail off as a member of that team to get them to come around and see it the way that I think it should be done. With Jamil Giovanni, who's an MP in Durham Region, it's really interesting stuff, because Jamil Giovanni has a history, a close personal relationship. Well, I don't know how close it is anymore, but anyway, he's got a history with J.D. Vance, the Vice President of the United States, who himself is a very interesting character. If you ever saw the movie Hillbilly Elegy, you'd have a much different perspective on J.D. Vance than you do today. I don't think the J.D. Vance that we learned about in that movie, though, is anywhere near the J.D. Vance we see as the vice president today. I can tell you that for free. Super interesting. And, of course, J.D. Vance used to be a guy talking about how terrible Donald Trump was, and now he's his right-hand man. But point being, try to focus here, Farwell, Jamil Giovanni went to school with J.D. Vance, so they know one another, and Jamil Giovanni thought, you know what? I'm gonna use my own personal relationship with the Vice President of the United States and go down to Washington for a meeting. Fair enough. But the way this has been positioned now, and you always have to, if you're not following the money, follow the political stripes. Because Jamil Giovanni, elected as a conservative, there's nothing wrong with that. But it's not like he went to Prime Minister Carney and said, the Liberal Prime Minister, and said, hey, can we work together on this? I might be able to make some inroads because I have this personal relationship with the Vice President. No, what Jamil Giovanni said was, I'm going to have this meeting. I'm kind of just letting you know. I'm not inviting you along. I'm just letting you know. So there's a wee bit, if we're being fair here, if we're being honest, there's a wee bit of grandstanding in this on the part of Jamil Giovanni. Grandstand all you want if that's what you want to do. But I just think we have to be careful. I hear where Tom is coming from and the frustration that comes with the idea that talk, and nobody's getting anything done. And Jamil Giovanni, he went and got something done, right? Yeah, he texted his buddy J.D. Vance, said, I'm going to come down to Washington. Can we have dinner? Okay, cool. But instead of trying to include any other members of the team, Jamil Giovanni just like, I'm going. Here's a heads up. It was more of a heads up than a, you want to come along? So let's just keep that in mind. And also, by the way, according to the front page of my newspaper today, a critical mineral block has now been tied. Like the critical minerals that we are so famous for and everybody wants from Canada right now. Well, we are now going to tie any talks on the next CUSMA, the Canada-US-Mexico agreement, to those critical minerals. I say that's playing to the strength of our hand. We shall see where it all goes. That's not 2 cents. I gave you at least 4, maybe 6 cents on that. As I get one more call in here on Talkback from Liam. Good afternoon, Liam.
Good afternoon, my friend. I just wanted to talk more about flashback and just like going back into nostalgia time, since I like hearing that conversation about the history of Waterloo, really.
Oh, okay. The Throwback Thursday at 11 this morning. Yes, I got about 30 seconds left, Liam, so let's hear what you liked about it.
So, right now, millennials and Gen Z have been talking about 2016, but to be honest, for me, it hits a bit different just because I was in high school and those weren't my highlight years compared to university. But, like, I feel like just because of how things are in the present, everyone has nostalgia because they miss things how it used to be because of how much issues we've had since today. And also growing up, you have more responsibilities. And I think that's part of the reason why there's nostalgia with 2016, because it wasn't as dramatic as things are today. And that's how I have to say in 30 seconds.
All right, great job, because I am fresh out of time. But listen, trust me, young man, the older you get, the more nostalgic you're going to get. You'll be crying at TV commercials before you know it, pal. I say that from experience. All right, that's all the time we've got for today. Now you know with Rob Snow is coming up until 3, and I will come back tomorrow morning at 9. I invite you to join me then. We'll have an All Request Friday. We'll play our Not $1 Million question. And do you remember that documentary, Rock This Town, about the incredible music scene here in the region? There's a follow-up coming, and you'll find out about it tomorrow on the show. My name is Mike Farwell. You are a force for good. Bye for now.